America's first Saturday afternoon sports spectacle is on the air. NCAA college football. The game of the week, another in the great lineup of ABC sports presentations.
And by Humble Oil and Refining Company, America's leading energy company, whose happy motoring stations bring you fine products and service coast to coast. And by the Gillette Safety Razor Company, maker of the 195 adjustable razor that adjusts to your skin and beard. The remarkable Super Blue Blade, all but unbelievable shaving comfort. And foaming, the cream of all instant lather.
From Philadelphia Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it's the Cadets of Army versus the Middies of Navy. Hello, everybody. This is Kurt Dowdy with Paul Christman and Bob Neal as we bid you welcome to one of America's top sporting classics. Philadelphia is the host today. It may be the city of brotherly love, and all the players work for the same uncle, Uncle Sam, but there'll be no love lost today. As we move into Philadelphia Stadium, 100,000 fans will watch Army against Navy. And we have just a beautiful afternoon here. The temperature is near 60. Weather-wise, this is the best weather we've had for an Army-Navy game since 1946. The Army-Navy game was first moved from Franklin Field to Municipal Stadium here in 1936. The Academy's alternate as host for the game each year. Navy on the even years, Army on the odd years. And there's a look at the crowd of 100,000. Right down below you in the near side of your screen will be Navy. Across the way is the Army cheering section. And the Army mules are galloping out on the field. This is the 61st Army-Navy game, as Army has won 30, Navy has won 25. And there are the mules of Army. Both squads have been warming up, have gone back to their locker rooms. Of course, for each team, the success or failure of the season will be wrapped up in one game. This is it. And there's the Army tank. Last year, Army suffered its worst defeat, 43-12 to Navy. And they've been burning for revenge ever since. We'll be talking along with Paul Christman here in just a moment. First of all, Paul, who the former All-American at Missouri University, will analyze the play for you today. Paul, they're really steamed up for this one.
First, we have decided we would dismiss the usual pregame warm-up here because there's so much going on in the field. That's probably old Ironsides out there. But the Navy and Army are shooting each other up all over the field. A big tank just went by, as you probably saw. There's the ship of the Navy. And this pregame stuff goes on quite a bit. In fact, we were remarking when the Cadet Corps marched on, everything was very solemn. But when they left, there was a grave in the middle of the field with a cross. We don't know how they got it in full uniform, but there it was. And that's the way this goes every time in the pregame.
Well, Paul, for weeks, the 3,800 midshipmen and 2,500 cadets have been getting ready for the game. Banners have been hung from all the buildings at both schools, and beat Army at Navy and sink Canoe U over at West Point. The build-up, the tension, is just about ready to be released here in about 12 minutes. And incidentally, this is a game in which you can throw the season records out the window, all the statistics. Many times Army's been heavily favored to win, they've lost. And many times Navy's been the favorite and they've lost. The dope bucket gets upset here. As we said, each coach regards this one as their season. And you'll be watching both cheering sections and everything goes on in the field. It has taken weeks and months to lead up to this game.
There's the ship again, and they're firing right into the Army section over there, and they are being trailed by a submarine. Now, I don't think this ship is going to go underwater or underground, but we're having this real wild start over here with, as we say, both corps participating. There's a submarine. As unlikely as it is, it has a couple of fins on the side, which are hard to see, diving planes. And the cadets of Army are going crazy on the far side there because they're being fired at by the Navy. One of the other things we saw in here, too, the Army marched on first, and later, as the Army was seated, the Navy came on, and they kept yelling, the Army kept yelling to get them out of cadence.
I'm Kurt Gowdy. This is Paul Crispin. Well, Paul, with this beautiful weather today, both teams have good passers. Tom Blanda for the Army and Hal Spooner for the Navy. And both teams use the spread type of offense. You look for a wide-open game.
I certainly do, Kurt, and I'll tell you something. As we were discussing before the game, Spooner of Navy surprised us quite a bit last time we saw him against the Air Force. He has better than a 50% average. Navy is not considered a passing team, but when we saw them against the Air Force, I was very much impressed with the timing of Spooner's passes. He's not an impressive-looking guy, but he gets the ball there on time, which is very important, and they had a real fine passing game as we saw that day.
It is seldom that the two teams come into an Army-Navy game with one man standing out. We're back on the field again as the Army cheering section is roaring. The Navy boats going by. And we'll be back here in a moment with more pregame activities here at Municipal Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Want more pleasure out of driving? Here's Happy, Esso's cheerful oil drop symbol of happy motoring to show you how to get it. Take a car, your car, add a tank full of the first premium gasoline created through atomic research. Esso Extra. Multiply Esso Extra's outstanding combination of driving advantages by the millions of motorists who use it regularly. And you'll see why it's the one gasoline that puts the fun back in driving. Now subtract what you save every time you fill up with Esso Extra, because it generally costs less than most other premiums. And what does it equal? Happy motoring. Yes, no matter how you figure it, Esso Extra means happy motoring. Another reason why the Esso sign is the world's first choice.
The hijinks continues here in Philadelphia as we get ready for the Army-Navy game. If you have followed our NCAA telecast this year, you know we give you an introduction of the starting lineup by taking you down to the field for a close-up look of the players. Now, for this game, we thought you'd like to see the Army and Navy starters not in a football headgear with a face mask, but in their uniforms at West Point and Annapolis, as they truly are the future officers of this United States. Now, these introductions were filmed at West Point and Annapolis this past week. And first, for the Army lineup, let's go to Bob Neal at West Point.
Hello, everybody. This is Bob Neal. I'm talking to you from in front of the Battle Monument at Trophy Point at West Point, the home of the United States Military Academy. I'd like you now to meet the Army team. And first, here's the captain of the Army team, number 64.
My name is Al Vanderbush. I'm 6'2" and 215 pounds. My hometown is Midland Park, New Jersey. Now I'd like to meet the rest of the Army team.
Thank you, Captain. The left end for Army, number 87.
I'm John Ellison. I'm 6 feet tall. I weigh 190 pounds. I'm presently from 48 France.
And I understand that, John, your father was a West Pointer.
Yes, sir, he is.
We're mighty proud to have you and have had your father here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And our left guard today for Army will be number 62.
I'm Mike Cass. I'm 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, from Beaver, Pennsylvania.
I thought maybe you were a Texan, Mike.
No, sir.
Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Good luck to you, son.
Thank you,
Number 54, the center for Army.
George Gowan. I'm 5'11", 190 pounds, from Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Thank you, sir. The inside tackle for Army, number 76.
Dale Coons. I weigh 230 pounds. I'm 6 feet 3 inches tall, and I'm from Clearfield, PA.
Thank you, Gene. And the outside tackle for Army, number 77.
Bob McCarthy. I'm 6 foot 2 inches tall. I weigh 210 pounds. I'm from East Bridgewater, Massachusetts.
And Bob is also a member of the Dean's List. Thank you, my boy. And one of the other outside tackles for Army, number 72.
Jerry Clements. I'm 6 foot 1, 220 pounds. My hometown is Queensbridge, New York.
Thank you very much, Jerry. One of the lonesome ends for Army is number 85.
Paul Zamita, 6'1", 180 pounds, from Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Paul. Number 80, another lonesome end.
I'm Bob Fullhart, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, from Tanessa, Pennsylvania.
Not really so lonesome.
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. The quarterback for Army, number 18.
Tom Bland. I'm 6 foot 1, 173 pounds, and I'm from Youngwood, Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Tom. The left halfback for Army today, number 45.
George Kirchendall, sir. 6'1", 185, from Allendale, New Jersey.
Thank you, sir. And the right halfback, number 16.
Glenn Adams, 6 feet, 1,285 pounds from El Paso, Texas.
And you are from Texas.
That's right.
Yes, sir. And the fullback from Army.
Now, Louis Hutz, Mount Pennsylvania, and 5 feet, 10 inches tall, 190 pounds.
Thank you very much, Al. Well, friends, that's the Army team. And a big day today, certainly, for the Army and the Navy. Now we'd like you to meet the Navy team. And let's introduce you to the captain of Navy, Joe Bellino.
Thank you, Bob. I'm number 38, Joe Bellino, captain of the Navy team from Mahoney City, Pennsylvania. I'm 6 foot tall, weigh 195 pounds. And now I'd like you to meet our left end, number 88, Frank Dadlow from Winchester, Massachusetts. I'm 5 feet 11 inches tall and weigh 185 pounds. Our left tackle, number 75.
I'm Al Driscoll from Waltham, Massachusetts. I'm 6 foot 1, 205 pounds.
Our left guard, number 66.
I'm Steve Horace from Santa Monica, California. I'm 6 feet tall, 200 pounds.
Our center, number 52.
Frank Visted from Smithtown, New York. I'm 6 foot 2, 205 pounds.
Our right guard, number 62. I'm John Hewitt from Belvedere, Pennsylvania. 5'11", 178 pounds. Our right tackle, number 76.
My name's Ron Urchel. I'm from West Dallas, Wisconsin, and weigh 207 pounds.
Our right end, number 82. I'm Jim Looper from Iowa City, Iowa. 6'2", 195. Our quarterback, number 12.
I'm Harold Spooner from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. 6 foot, 170 pounds.
Our left halfback, number 27, and everyone's All-American.
My name is Joe Bellino. I'm from Winchester, Massachusetts. I'm 5 foot 9 inches tall and weigh 177 pounds.
Our right halfback, number 21.
I'm John Pritchard, 6'3", 185. I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Thank you, John. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our Navy team.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, those are the fine young men representing our service academies. Army and Navy is a traditional football battle, and we're just seconds away from the kickoff. So let's go back up to Kurt Gowdy and Paul Chrisman.
Paul Chrisman and Kurt Gowdy back in Philadelphia, and as you can hear, the house is going mad with this Army-Navy game coming up. We're waiting for the coin flip to take place, and while we are, we don't have enough time to give you the background on both teams, but we just want to mention one man who's going to be very prominent today, as you have read. And that is Joe Bellino, number 27 of the Navy. Everyone in the country has his eye on Joe because he has been the most fabulous back that they've had in this part of the country in years. Now here's Kurt Gowdy for the coin flip.
All right, the captains are moving out to midfield. The referee today will be Dave Kaufman of Johns Hopkins. Let's go down to the field for the toss.
Kaufman, nice meeting you, Captain Gibson. Captain Gibson. Boys, I want you to shake hands, Captain Madelovich. All right, Joe. All right. Now, boys, will you come in a little closer? I'd like to present Mr. Henry Hormel, who is our back judge today, and he's from New York University. Mr. Ice is our field judge, and he's from Carnegie Tech. Mr. Walter Coffey is our head linesman, and he's from Rutgers. And Mr. Harold Geigus on the end, and he's from Temple, is our umpire. On the side, boys, we have our timekeeper right over here. The man with the white hat is Mr. Wally Goering from Union. And in the middle is Mr. Jim Henry, the athletic director of LaSalle. And on the end is Ed Myers from Temple. They're both alternates. Now we're going to toss. You're going to call it. We'll also agree now that the winner of the toss will get the ball in case of a tie game. Is that agreeable? Right. All right, will you call it? Hit. Hit. It is tails. You are the winner, and good luck to you. All right, they want to receive. You have a choice to go. All right, will you turn this way, boys? Lots of good luck to both of you, boys. We're ready to go. Okay.
Will be set for the kickoff between Army and Navy at Philadelphia Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And now let's go down to Bob Neal.
Well, we'll have the kickoff in a few seconds. Here it is, Thanksgiving weekend. Traditionally the time to begin Christmas shopping in earnest. And if you're looking for a real good gift idea, here's a brand new one from L&M. Here's Mike Stewart with the details.
Hi. This year there are two ways to give L&M. These attractive holiday gift cartons, and new this year, 2 cartons of L&M Kings with a free Christmas record attached. A 33 1/3 RPM recording of 5 favorite Christmas carols, sung in old-time harmony by our L&M Quartet. Listen.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
The sound of Christmas, the taste of L&M, brought together in this special holiday gift bag. You buy 2 cartons of L&M Kings and get our Christmas record free.
Army is in white. They'll be kicking off. Navy will be spreading out in the dark jerseys in receiving formation. 100,000 at the game today. Number 21 is John Pritchard for Navy. And number 27 will be Joe Bellino. They'll be trying to boot it away from Bellino. And the game is underway. The clock won't start until the ball is touched. It comes down to Bellino on the 4. He's up to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to 25. Still on his feet at the 30, 35. And down in the 37, he nearly broke away. And that shows you the type of runner Bellino is. Tremendous balance with those powerful legs. Very hard to knock down. Paul Zamaida brought him down. Navy's ball on their 36. They'll have Spooner at quarterback, number 12. Bellino, 27 at left half. Matalavich, 38 at fullback. And Pritchard is the flank back. He split wide to the right. And breaking in to hit Bellino for the loss is John Ellerson, number 87. The Army in.
It looked like that play developed a little faster than it was supposed to because he actually got out ahead of his blockers there. The defensive end had nothing to do but take him right in his arms as he came out.
Second down, 15 for the Navy on their 31. Pritchard comes out as a flank back. Double wing, actually, a double flank. That's Spooner being hit. Down he goes for another loss. Scoring in there, number 54, and that is Yalwin, the center, and number 76, Dale Coombs, the tackle of Army. Army pasted last year, 43-12. Their worst beating by Navy. They're out for revenge today. Navy has a third down and 21. Ron McKean's coming at fullback for the Navy. Pritchard is the flank back. And here is Bellino. He was looked like a quick kick. Down he goes back on the 19. Bob McCarthy broke through. Bellino has quick kicked 11 times this year for an average of 47 yards. I don't know whether that was a fake or whether he was rushed so hard that he thought he'd be taking a chance by quick kicking.
Kurt, it looked like a fake development. He wanted to obviously have him drop back for the impending quick kick and then fake it, but they were ready for it.
Joe Blackgrove is deep for Army and safety. 4th down and 28 for Navy. And Greg Mather, number 85, an end, is going to boot it for the Navy, kicking against the slight wind. It is bouncing on the Navy 45, taken by Blackgrove. He fumbles, and Navy recovered. How he was hit on that high bounce. Navy has Ron Urschel, number 76, recovering the fumble. The kick from scrimmage 34. And so Navy made its own break. Navy on the Army 47. Pritchard is the flank back to the left of your picture now. Ball is given off to the fullback McKean on a counterplay or a cross butt. He drives inside of the Army 45 to the Army 44. He was stopped by Bob McCarthy, number 77, the Army right tackle. And Matalavich, number 38, as we just saw, checked back into the backfield for Navy. Second down, 7 to go. Navy's ball. Here's Pritchard. He'll always be the flanking back. The pitch out goes to Matalavich, and he is stormed under, perhaps for a loss. It was Bob McCarthy and George Yalwin in on the tackle for Army.
With a passing down coming up and that Army line charging so hard they haven't even been dented yet, wouldn't be a bad idea with a draw play right here.
Army with a 5-man line up front. They give the ball to Bellino, and Bellino trying to slice is stopped at the 45-yard line, and Army has been rough.
He tried the trap on that play, and that defensive tackle and guard didn't move an inch. Didn't take the fake at all. It looks like that Army line has come to play.
All right, Greg Mather has come into the game for Navy, number 85. He's their punter. It's 4th down and 8 to go for Navy. Twice they've had the ball, and twice they've been stopped. Joe Blackgrove is the deep man, a little fellow, a scoot back for the Army. He's back on his 8-yard line. Mather is booting for the Coffin corner. The ball is taken on the 20-yard line, coming up to the 25, up to the 30 is Adams. And Glenn Adams making a fine run back of nearly 15 yards on that punt. Runs it back to the Army 35. And now Army puts the ball in play for the first time. Kick from scrimmage of 21 yards. Army backfield will be Tom Blanda, number 18, the quarterback. Kirschenbauer at left half, 45. Rushatz at fullback, 31. And Adams, number 16, at right half. They don't have the lonely end out. Blanda to Adams. Adams going wide up to the 40 and driven out of bounds on his 46-yard line. Number 16, Glenn Adams from El Paso, Texas. He was stopped by John Hewitt, number 62 of the Navy. And that's a first down for Army and our first down of the game. No lonely end. Tight backfield, as you can see. Unbalanced line left. Ball comes to Kirschenbauer. Kirschenbauer piled up by Steve Hoy and Frank Vista. Hoy, number 66, down at the bottom of that pile. And also number 62, Hewitt.
Now, that's a little indication of the Navy defensive strength, because that was a real power play there with two backs ahead of it, and they didn't pick up much yardage.
Second down, 9 to go for the Army on their 47. They're not using the lonely end thus far. Trying to drive wide is Adams, and he was tripped up on a fine defensive play there by 52, Frank Vistad of Smithton, New York. Stopped on the 48-yard line of Army. Third down, 8 to go. No score in the game, the early minutes. A beautiful sunshiny day, as you can see. And we've had furious defensive play so far. Navy's been stopped twice. Army's picked up one first down. Let's see what they do on third down. Bland is fading. Fires out to the right. It's good at the 45. And into Navy territory goes Paul Zemaida. Pennsylvania boy, a junior 180-pounder who plays the lonely end. He was driven out by John Pritchard. That's another Army first down. 2 in a row. They have a first down on the Navy 38. Pass was good for 14 yards. Unbalanced line left. Landed Adams. Adams at the 35 and stopped at the 34 or 33-yard line of Navy by John Hewitt, who met him head on. Spotted at the 34-yard line. A gain of 4 yards, second down, and 6 to go. Army's on the move. They have driven from their 35 to the Navy 34. Blanda brings them up. Still not using that lonely end. And hitting up the middle this time. Kirschenbauer stopped by Jim Looper and Ron Urchel. Now on the Navy 33 with Army in possession. Third down and 5 to go for the Army. Zemaida moving over on the strong side end. Blanda gives the ball to Adams, and Adams is hit on the Navy 31 by John Hewitt again. And Frank Dadlio, senior left end from Winchester, Massachusetts. Now we have a fourth down and 3 to go for Army. Fourth and 3. The cadets are on the Navy 31. Paul Stanley, number 40, has come in for the Army, and he's dropping back in punt formation. There's Bellino, number 27, the safety man for Navy. The high pass, angling for the far corner, and what a kick. It's out on the 1-yard line. And that's what you call nailing the lid on the coffin, as Stanley boots it out on the Navy 1-yard line to put Navy in a bad hole here. Navy's ball, first down on their 1-yard line. Hal Spooner will be back in at quarterback for the Navy, number 12. Bellino, 27 at left half. McKeon, 36 at fullback. And Pritchard, 21 at right half. Here's Pritchard coming out, number 21, the flank back. They give the ball to Bellino. Bellino at the 5, at the 10. He's up to the 25, to the 30. Still on his feet. He's in the Army territory, and he brings them out of the hole. A 57-yard run by Joe Bellino gives Navy a first down on the Army 42-yard line, and Army is going to talk it over. And right now it's timeout here at Philadelphia Stadium in Philadelphia with a score, Navy nothing and Army nothing.
Your Esso dealer proudly announces Esso and Humble join hands to create America's leading energy company to serve you better coast to coast now with quality products, outstanding values, and fine service from the great new nationwide Humble Oil and Refining Company at more than 30,000 Happy Motoring service stations, including your Esso dealers. Happy reminds you the Esso sign will continue to bring you everything you need for happy motoring.
Well, Stop Bellino has been the cry of Army for the last few weeks, and Bellino nearly broke loose for a 99-yard run there. 57 yards, Paul.
Well, that's a perfect indication of how he runs. He's probably the best lateral runner since Charlie Trippi, and he carries a little more weight than Trippi, and he's also a little stockier.
That's Pritchard, the flanking back, number 21. They give the ball this time to Matt Lavage as he goes to the 37-yard line of the Army. Bob McCarthy and Paul Zamaida stopped him. Gain of 5, second down, 5 to go for Navy. We have no score, 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first period. Army and white, if you just joined us. Navy a few moments ago had the ball on their 1-yard line. Now they're in Army territory. Fading is Spooner. Throwing, it is good to the 25-yard line to Joe Bellino. Check that to the flank back. 21, Pritchard, who is flanking wide.
That pass pattern was just a straight hook about 10 yards deep to the flanking man.
That's another Navy first down around the Army 26. And hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped is Bellino, this time on the Army 28. The tackle was made by John Ellerson, number 87. Army's left end from Hampton, Virginia.
This type of thing is very bad psychologically for Army, because with that kick out on the 1-yard line, you almost feel that you're home free. You've got them penned up in there, and then have them pop out for 60 yards is really a rough blow.
Pritchard is flanking left. Spooner's fading. Throws. It's good at the 20 and out of bounds. On the 18-yard line is the end, Looper. Jim Looper from Iowa City, Iowa, number 82. George Kirschenbauer drove him out of bounds.
A sideline pattern, and as we mentioned before the game, Spooner's timing is very good on his passes. The ball he throws is not the best in the world, but it gets there on time, and this is the most important thing in passing.
They have a third down now on the Army 19. The pass is overthrown that time, intended for Looper, number 82 at the 10-yard line. Len Blumhardt, number 27, the Army defensive back, knocked that one down. And coming into the game is 72, Gary Clement. Going out is number 77, Bob McCarthy. All right, we have a big fourth down play right now for the Navy. 4th and 3 on the Army 19-yard line. Pritchard flanking outside of his right end. And Spooner running very close to the first down. Spooner Number 12, the Navy quarterback. We're going to have a timeout by referee Kaufman and our first measurement of the game. Well, let's watch it. Number 38 is the Navy captain, Joe Bellino. Army will either hold or Navy will keep the drive going. That's a Navy first down. Navy's ball on the Army 16-yard line. Pritchard flanking left. Spooner to Bellino, to 15. And Bellino almost to the 12-yard line, where he was met by Al Rushat, the Army fullback, one of their linebackers, and also Bob McCarthy, number 77. It is second down and 6 to go for Navy. We have 4 minutes and 45 seconds left to play in the first period. No score. They put Pritchard out as a flank back again. Here's Spooner fading. Throws. An incomplete pass. And may have an illegal receiver there. Let's see, though. No penalty marker down right now.
The only question was, Kurt, whether that ball hit him on the fly or on the ground. The officials ruled it hit him it hit the ground before it got to him.
Right.
It would have been that.
Hit him on the grass before he touched it. Pritchard flanking out again. 3rd and 6 for Navy. Coming wide is Bellino. Now throws, and they're out of bounds. An Army man was out, and also Meyer was out of bounds. So that'll bring up a 4th down. Navy's ball on the Army 12-yard line, 4th down. And as you can see, the ball is slightly in from the near sideline with an angle if they want to go for a field goal. Greg Mather has come into the game. There's the tape. He's the place-kicking specialist of Navy. Hal Spooner will hold, and the ball will be spotted on the 18-yard line. A slight angle from the near sideline. The kick is up, and it is no good, just to the left. No good, says referee Kaufman. And so that drive of 87 yards comes to a stop. Bellino set the drive up when he took the ball on the Navy 1-yard line and raced 57 yards into Army territory, nearly breaking away for the longest run from scrimmage in the history of an Army-Navy game. Army's ball on their own 20. Their backfield will be Blanda, number 18 at quarterback. Kirschenauer, 45 at left half. Rusat, 31 at fullback. And Adams, number 16 at right half. Navy is checking in their second line. They'll have Kellner, Driscoll, Faulkner, Lucci, Von Sydow, Fitzgerald, and Mather in the line. Vic Meyer is going to be in the secondary. John Zenia will be in at fullback defensively. And here's Army up. Surprise has been they haven't used the lonely in much. Blanda with a big pile-up to Rushat. Rushat is the workhorse of the Army backfield. And there's a loose ball with Navy taking over. And down at the bottom of that pile is Vern Von Sydow. 51 of the Navy. Second time in the game, Navy has recovered an Army fumble. This time they have the ball on the Army 23. Number 12's in the game, the quarterback, Spooner, gives the ball off to Vic Meyer. Meyer stopped at the 23-yard line by Al Vanderbush, Army's number 64, and their All-American guard, one of the co-captains.
I rather expected them to throw on first down there because it's a great down to throw after a fumble. Right on the first down.
Here's Spooner. Out to Hughes. That's a sensational catch by Al Hughes, number 47. He's the Navy basketball captain. As you would imagine, he has an outstanding pair of hands. He was the flanking back. Glenn Adams was right on him, but Hughes made the grab. It's on the Army 18-yard line. Now 3rd down and 5 to go for Navy. Al Hughes flanking. Spooner again on the 9 or 8-yard line. And there is a penalty marker going down as Mather, number 85, grabbed the pass. But here is a penalty marker down. They're talking to number 36, Ron McKeon. The 8-yard line. Put it half the distance to the goal line. A personal foul against Army. When a foul takes place inside the 20 or 15-yard penalty, it is half the distance to the goal. Now Navy has a 1st down and goal to go on the Army 4-yard line. Bellino has got left after. Want to get their boat there. They run it back in. Hughes flanking. It's to Bellino. Coming wide. And he's over. Joe Bellino scores his 18th touchdown of the season. Number 27, the all-time leading scorer in Navy history. He has scored 18 touchdowns this year. That is his 110th point. He broke Buzz Morey's old Navy record. Frank Visted will snap the ball. Red Mather will attempt the kick, and holding will be Hal Spooner. The kick is no good. It is timeout here at Philadelphia Stadium in Philadelphia with the score Navy 6 and Army nothing. And now coming up next, some action shots of our broadcasting partner, Paul Chrisman. So watch closely.
Behind every champion, there's a secret. And that great passer is Paul Chrisman, former University of Missouri All-American. What's the secret of good passing, Paul?
Good blocking. As for my secret, I teach them to carry the ball up around the shoulders so they can get it away fast. And for accuracy and good balance, point your lead foot right at the target and let her fly.
Yes, behind every champion, there's a secret. And L&M has found the secret that unlocks the flavor. Flavor that lets your taste come alive. In today's L&M, with its patented filtering process, fine tobaccos can be blended.
Blended, blended, blended.
Not to suit a filter, but to suit your taste.
For friendly flavor, I reach for L&M.
L&M has found the secret that unlocks the flavor in a filter cigarette.
Navy will kick off, and deep for Army is Joe Blackgrove. A little scat back. He's on the 5-yard line. Greg Mather will boot for the Navy as Navy has just scored with 2 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the first period. They recovered a fumble in 4 plays, marched 23 yards for the touchdown. Joe Bellino, who scored 3 touchdowns last year against the Army, has scored the first touchdown of this game. Blackgrove on the 12-yard line, comes up to the 20. 2 Navy men on him as they haul him down on the 23-yard line. Dick Fitzgerald and number 80, Gary Kellner, cover the kickoff for Navy. Going to put it on the Army 22. Army's ball, 1st down. Army has Blanda, 18 at quarterback. Kirschenbauer, 45 at left half. Rushat, 31 at fullback, and Adams, number 16 at right half. Still sticking with that tight formation. It goes to Adams. He stopped at the 25-yard line. Army has played fairly conservative so far. The tackle made by Vern Von Sydow from Levittown, Pennsylvania, sophomore, number 61 in the Navy line. 2nd down, 7 to go for the Army. A minute and a half left here in the first period. Now they've got the lonely end out, Zamida. The ball goes to Rushatz, the fullback. Army runs that belly or drive play a lot, with the quarterback giving to the fullback or the quarterback taking it out of his stomach and then going into some other kind of play action. Rick Mather and George Huffman made the tackle for Navy. Third down, 4 to go for Army. The clock moving with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Remember, Army has the wind at its back in the first period. The lonely end is out, Zamaida. In motion is Kirschenbauer, and there's a Navy man charging. Number 84, Larry Graham, the left tackle. With the penalty marker down, it is going against Navy. Illegal procedure. First down.
In that moment of anxiety, maybe just enough to keep an Army drive going because they had 3rd and 7 prior to this.
In motion again is Kirschenbauer. Army's ball, first down. Blanda pitching out and falling down, as you saw losing his footing, was Glenn Adams, number 16. George Huffman, number 77, came in to fall on top of him. Greg Mather, 85, was trying to turn the play in. The loss of a yard. Second down, 11 to go for the Army. Navy's out in front, 6-0. We're in the last 20 seconds of the first period. Zamaida going out as a lonely end, number 85. In motion, Adams. Blanda fading. The pass wide open is Kirschenbauer, and he's up to the Army 44-yard line. Wayne Payne Hardison, number 48, tackle number 45, George Kirschenbauer. And it's the end as they measure, trying to establish the first down. It's the end of the first quarter with the score, Navy 6 and Army nothing.
Watch. Here comes Christmas gift goof number 1. Wrong size. Here's gift goof number 2. Wrong style. And goof number 3, a gift he can't use. There's one sure way not to goof this Christmas. Give Paper-Mate pens. Paper-Mate pens make goof-proof gifts. There's never a worry about size or color or style. And a Paper-Mate is a gift everyone can use. This is the famous Capri Mark III. Here's the petite and lovely Lady Capri. Or give the luxurious Capri Mark IV in gleaming jeweler's finish. All Paper-Mate pens are unconditionally guaranteed. If the Paper-Mate you give doesn't perform, we'll replace it. So don't goof this Christmas. Get Paper-Mate pens at the Paper-Mate gift bar.
Paper-Mate gifts are goof-proof.
Kurt Gowdy with Paul Christman again here in Philadelphia as we've come to the end of the first quarter with Navy out in front 6-0. Army has just picked up a first down. They're on their 44-yard line. Army in white, Navy in the dark jersey. They got the lonely end out. In motion. As a back. As Rushatz, the Army fullback, 190-pound wrestler, by the way, Eastern Intercollegiate Heavyweight Wrestling champ, carries the ball to the Army 48-yard line. Tackle made by Hardison and Matalavi. Have O'Connor in at right halfback. There he is, Jimmy O'Connor, spinning up to the 50-yard line. He's from Stoughton, Massachusetts. He was tackled by Ron Urchel, number 76, and Jim Looper, the right end, number 82. Navy has its first string line back in the game.
And Jim Looper played a fine defensive end on that because he had a couple of blockers around his midsection and still managed to get through for the tackle.
Third down and 4 to go for the Army. Blanda faking the handoff, throwing out in the flat. It was intended for Paul Zamaida, 85, covered by Ron McKeon, number 36. And that brings up a fourth down for the Army and 4 to go. Army had moved the ball from its 22-yard line to midfield. Joe Bellino will be dropping back. punt formation is Paul Stanley, number 40 for the Navy. There's Bellino. They're trying to boot it away from him. Hits on the Navy 30 and goes out of bounds on the Navy 29-yard line. But you can bet those Army kickers have orders. Keep it away from Bellino. 21-yard kick from scrimmage. Bellino is the most famous midshipman at West Point in many, many years. For the last few weeks, his name has been hung around on banners, Stop Bellino at West Point. And they haven't stopped him so far. Navy's ball on their 29 with Hal Spooner calling signals. They have a first down. Pritchard is the flank back at the top of your screen. Spooner fakes to Bellino, throws, nearly intercepted by Army with a wide-open field ahead with George Kirschenbauer. And if he could have held on to that one, he might have been on his way.
Kurt, I believe that's why all passers are trained to throw as hard as possible, so that if the man who is to receive it doesn't catch it, it makes it pretty difficult for the defensive man, and he really rifled that one.
Bill Whitehead came in as center, number 50 for the Army. Pritchard is out wide. Ball is given to Bellino, dropped for the loss. Hit by Paul Zamaida, number 85, the Army end.
And we're getting fine defensive end play on both sides, because there again he had a blocker right in his midsection, shoved him off and made that tackle. That's a real good play.
Third down and 14 for Navy on their 25. Zailska's 21 has come in for Kirschenbauer in the Army secondary. There's a fake draw play, and now it turns into a screen pass. Coming up to the 25, up to the 30, Bellino, and Bellino dumped on his 35. We had a fake draw, and then the screen off the fake draw, as Navy uses some real trickery. Joe Bellino, number 27, was stopped by Roger Zailkas on the Navy 35-yard line. The play gained 10 yards, but Navy still has 4th and 4 to go. Army is dropping back. Blackgrove, Blumhardt. In punt formation is Greg Mather for the Navy on his 21. The beauty. Blackgrove watches it hit, now takes it on the 18. Oh, what a tackle there. Number 62, Mike Cass. Or John Hewitt downfield to make that tackle. 47-yard kick from scrimmage as Army puts the ball in play on their 21-yard line.
Although we've only listed that wind as 10 miles an hour from the right of your screen, it looks like it's gotten to be a little more than that, because the punts from the left have been rather short, and that was a fine long kick there with the wind.
Zailkas and O'Connor, now the Army halfback. They have the lonely end out, and Navy is asking for time. So it is timeout here at Philadelphia Stadium in Philadelphia, with the score Navy 6 and Army nothing.
God rest you, merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day.
Here's a gift that's a beauty and a winner for friends, family, any man on your Christmas list. The Gillette Executive Adjustable Razor. It adjusts instantly at a turn of the dial to match any combination of skin and beard. Richly gold-plated, it comes in this modern case. Price $5. Here's another winner. Gillette Super Blue Blades in gaily holiday wrap packages, 30 for $2 or 50 for $3.45. Or this handsomely packaged gift set, including the Gillette Adjustable Razor, Super Blue Blades, and Foamy Instant Lather, only $2.75. Stocking gifts or inexpensive remembrances? Well, how can you top the $1.95 adjustable razor or a package of Gillette Super Blue Blades? Be sure to look for the complete line of Gillette Christmas gifts from 69 cents or less to $5 or more.
12 minutes remaining in the first half. Navy is leading 6-0. They recovered an Army fumble on the Army 23 and drove in 4 plays for a touchdown with Joe Bellino carrying the ball over. 2 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the first period. Army's backfield will be Blanda, 18 at quarterback, Zailska's 21 at one half, Jimmy Connors, number 20, the other half, Rushat's at full, and Zamaida's the lonely end. Zailska's in motion. There's the fullback, Rushat. Trying the middle, Frank Bisted stopped him, and John Hewitt, number 62, also. enlisted from Smithton, New York, a senior, 223. Navy's line outweighs Army about 11 pounds a man. Army's ball, second down, 8 to go. Jalwin's come back in at center for the Army, replacing Whitehead. A lonesome end split out. They give the ball to the fullback, Rushatz again. Navy is plugging up that middle. Rushatz has carried the ball twice as much as any Army back this year, 146 times, averaging 4 yards a carry. He's a hard driver. He's lost only 4 yards all season long. Third down and 7. The lonely end split out. Landa pitching to Connors. Connors out of bounds on the Army 26-yard line, driven out by Dadlio, Frank Dadlio, number 88 from Winchester, Massachusetts, who was a teammate with Joe Bellino in high school. They played together quite some time. We now have a 4th down and 5 to go. Blanda's gone out, and Stanley replaces, and there's Bellino dropping back as a safety man for Navy, back in his own territory on his 40. Stanley's booting. Hits on the 50 to the 40. It is dead on the Navy 42-yard line. Jow in the center. 54 had gone down to cover the kick. Bellino wasn't taking any chances of trying to scoop up a wobbly ball on that bounce. 34-yard kick from scrimmage. Navy takes over on the Navy 42. Cal Spooner comes back in at quarterback for the Navy, number 12. There's part of the crowd of 100,000 here today in perfect football weather. Pritchard is flanking to the right. Bellino is a wingback. Fading is Spooner. Incomplete at the 50-yard line. Pass intended for Pritchard, number 21. He was covered by Blumhart, number 27.
You know, one thing we might make note of, I don't know whether the teams are trained in vibration or what, but they obviously cannot hear too well from the quarterbacks. There hasn't been a moment of silence in the stadium since the game started. As you can hear, constant yelling. So those quarterbacks must be really barking those signals.
Navy has a flank back, Pritchard, and Bellino is a wing back. There's Bellino in motion. It goes to him. Bellino is brought down, stopped at the Navy 44-yard line by Paul Zamaida. He's number 85. And as Paul Crispin told you, we've had brilliant in play on the part of both teams. They've been turning those plays in. That's their duty, with the secondary, another lineman coming up to make the tackle in. Third down and 8 to go for Navy. Navy out in front, 6-0. 9 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first half. Pritchard flanking again. Spooner fading, is throwing. It's complete at the 40-yard line. And down to the 38-yard line is Jim Looper. Stopped by Jim Connors. Spooner hit him right down the middle. Number 82 from Iowa City, Iowa, is Jim Looper, Navy's fine right end, who caught 19 passes this year, the leading Navy pass receiver.
And Spooner very wisely changed his pattern on that one, because he's been throwing to the outside the entire ball game. That time he threw over the middle and was wide open.
Navy's ball on the Army 38. Pritchard flanked again. And they give it off to Bellino. Bellino coming over the 35 inside the Army 30. He had to be tripped up by Blumhart. Bellino, look at those calves on him, number 27. His calves are 18 inches in circumference. He is not too heavy above his waist, but look at his calves as he crouches over. Sometimes he has to slit his football pants. They're so tight on those bulging muscles that he gets cramps in his legs. That's where his power comes. Second down and a yard to go. It's a crossbuck, and driving to the 26-yard line is Matt Lavage, the Navy fullback. That should be good enough for a Navy first down. Bob Folhart stopped him.
And there you saw an intangible that a back of Bellino's type can cause, in that a fake to him will move that defense over, as we saw there, and open the play for the fullback who's coming back the other way. Makes it so much easier all the way around.
Navy has just come in to referee Kaufman and asked for time. North Carolina 14, Virginia nothing at the end of the first quarter. The first score we have today. And with timeout now, with Navy out in front, it is timeout here at Philadelphia with a score. Navy 6 and Army nothing.
Tough to buy presents for men? This gal knows better. Here's the gift that has everything any man needs for superb shaves. A Gillette adjustable razor, a dispenser of super blue blades, and foamy instant lather. Attractively gift boxed at only $2.75. Here's another natural, a generous supply of razor blades. A gift wrap pack of 50 double-edged Gillette super blue blades costs only $3.45, or $30 for $2. As stocking gifts or inexpensive general giving, a $1.95 adjustable razor or individual dispensers of super blues. These practical Gillette gifts assure clean, comfortable shaves and a rousing thank you from those who receive them. It's easy to shop for them. A nearby store has Gillette gifts from 69 cents or less to $5 or more.
Kurt Gowdy and Paul Christman again along with Bob Neal of Philadelphia. Navy's ball on the Army 26. There's Wayne Harden, the Navy coach. His second year as head coach. First down for Navy. They're leading 6-0. We have 8 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the half. Pritchard is flanking left. Fading is Spooner. Fires to Pritchard at the 25, and he's out of bounds on the Army 22-yard line. John Pritchard, who is on the Navy track team very fast. He's caught 16 passes coming into the game from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Ron McKeon, 36, checks into the Navy backfield, replacing Joe Matalavis. Second down, 4 for the Navy. There are the midshipmen. They also have a new football in the game. Number 54, middle man in the defense for Army, George Jalwin. Pritchard flanking again. Driving is Bellino. Look at him go with 2 or 3 men. He actually lost ground as he ripped out of tackles. He was to the 17, but it shows you that power he has as 2 or 3 men couldn't contain him. He stopped on the 21-yard line. A yard gain. There's the Navy goat. Watching Mr. Bellino in action. Navy's ball, 3rd down and 5 to go. Pritchard is flanking. Spooner is fading. Nearly intercepted, and as Navy had it, they do on the 9-yard line. Deflected by an Army defender and caught by Pritchard, 21. The flanking back of Navy. Looked like a man up the middle deflected that pass, either Blumhardt or maybe the fullback Rushat. Now it's 1st down and goal to go for Navy as they got a break on that one. Pritchard flanking again. 1st and 9 for a touchdown. Here is Spooner rolling out. He's hit and dragged down by Bob Fullhart, number 80, who broke through, a junior from Tionesta, Pennsylvania. Bob Fullhart nabbed him back on the 24-yard line.
We continue to have that very fine defensive end play, and there's where it really pays off.
There's Dale Hall, the Army coach, also in his second year as head coach. Both these coaches are young. 2nd down, 24 to go for a touchdown for Navy. Pritchard flanking wide. Spooner fading. A screen pass to Bellino. He's at the 25 to the 20 and tripped over one of his own men, Larry Graham, number 84. Bellino has dropped at the 17-yard line of the Army, or the 18-yard line. 3rd down and 18 to go. Joe Bellino, a senior. 3rd down, 18 to go for a Navy touchdown. We have 6 minutes left to play in the first half. Navy's ahead, 6-0. This time it's the draw play. And moving through is the fullback, Ron McKeon, as he hits to the 10-yard line.
So far, that was probably the smartest call of the ball game there, because it's a real passing down, 3rd and long yardage. And that trap play is a beautiful one to call in that position, because that defensive tackle is rolling to the outside to get at that passer. It's a perfect time to call the trap.
Zamaida has checked in place of Fullhart. Here's Bellino coming out, and Greg Mather, 85, their place-kicking specialist, is in. Looks like they might go for a field goal. The ball spotted on the 16, almost in the middle of the field. They missed one earlier. The kick is up, and that one is good. Mather boots it, and Navy takes a 9-0 lead. Mather had earlier missed the field goal and an extra point. And so, Navy will kick off and Army will receive. Now we like to say, young men, be a man among men. Now you can choose the Army's combat arm, infantry, armor, or artillery if you qualify. If you select one of the Army's combat arms, you get the additional choice of overseas area or an airborne unit. Remember, choose the Army's combat arm, infantry, armor, or artillery. See your local United States Army recruiter today. And there are the West Pointers trying to root their team on, as Navy is dominated since the early minutes of the game. Joe Blackgrove, 44, is a deep man for Army. Greg Mather will kick off for the Navy. He's number 85. He has a wind at his back in this quarter. Ball hits on the 20. Pritchard watches it bounce. And it is picked up by Blackgrove on the 5. Up to the 15. Up to the 20. And down on the Army 21-yard line. John Zenya, number 44, went down under the kick. We now have 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half. A timeout is going to be called. Navy is asking for time here. Navy out in front, and with this timeout, let's bring in Paul Chrisman.
For those of you who wondered why the Army man picked up that bounding kickoff there, even though it was rolling around, there are some viewers who do not know that any kickoff of that type is a free ball and can be recovered by the kicking team, and the ball is in their possession wherever they recover it if they do. And this is one kick. You can't wait to see if it rolls over the goal line or rolls out of bounds with the opponents rushing downfield. It's one of those things that has to be picked up rather quickly. The decision has to be made. Either fall on it or pick it up and run. And this is exactly what he did, and returned the ball in pretty good shape down the sideline.
Just looking at the statistics, Navy has 7 first downs in the game. Al Hughes, by the way, is being helped off the field. The Navy halfback, captain of their basketball team. Army has 3 first downs. We have 13 passes intercepted by Navy, and they've completed 8. Spooner's hit 8 out of 13. Army's hit 2 out of 3. All right, Army's ball on their 21-yard line. In motion is Zalkus. Blanda gives the ball to Jimmy Connors, and with that gaping hole open, Connors picks up the first down to the Army 33-yard line, hit by Vic Meyer.
And with Army getting out with a little elbow room out here to the 35-yard line approximately, we should see Blanda start throwing before too long because time is growing nigh in the half, and Blanda is a fine passer.
He's only attempted 3 passes today. He keeps the ball and is dropped on the 36-yard line. Beautiful shoestring tackle by number 84, Larry Graham. And also 85, Greg Mather. Clock is moving with 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Navy out in front, 9-0. Zamida, the lonely end, split wide. Saleskus in motion to give that ball to Jim Connors as he tried to slice back. Dick Eckert has come in at quarterback now for the Army. Larry Graham, number 84, dropped him.
And that last play that was stopped there is the previous one that was run for about a 15 or 20-yard gain, and you can't blame a quarterback for going back to a successful effort.
Third down now, 3 to go. Eckert rolling out. And he's hit. Is it a fumble? A penalty marker's down back on the 30. He was hit, and that's intentionally grounding a forward pass. That'll be a 5-yard penalty and a loss of a down from the spot of the pass.
Kurt, every passer will always argue with an official on that play because most of them feel they can throw the ball even when they're down on their knees. And he will claim that he had his arm moving forward and it was trying to pass. But the official sees it differently.
They lose the down, and the penalty is from the spot of the pass, 5 yards. Third down now, 3 to go. Eckert rolling out. And he's hit. Is it a fumble? A penalty marker's down back on the 30. He was hit, and that's intentionally grounding a forward pass. That'll be a 5-yard penalty and a loss of a down from the spot of the pass.
Kurt, every passer will always argue with an official on that play because most of them feel they can throw the ball even when they're down on their knees. And he will claim that he had his arm moving forward and it was trying to pass. But the official sees it differently.
They lose the down, and the penalty is from the spot of the pass, 5 yards. That brings up a 4th down. Army's ball on the Army 25, and they have a 4th and 18. In punt formation is Paul Stanley. Vic Myers deep for Navy. He just got it away, nearly blocked. Taken on the Navy 45 and hit on the Navy 46-yard line was Meyer. Number 72 and 64. Al Vanderbush, and number 72 is Gary Clements for the Army. 31-yard kick from scrimmage. Navy's ball on their 46, first down. They're ahead. We have 2 minutes, 55 seconds left to go. Once again, Navy is asking for time.
What you just saw there, we've mentioned previously in the season, was Blanda throwing off of what is known as a play number pass. Instead of dropping back straight and throwing into the pocket, he makes a couple of fakes to the men going into the line and then drops back to pass. However, he chose third down and long yardage to do this, and this is the time, of course, when the defensive team is looking for a pass and is not so susceptible to those fakes which he is going through. In other words, this is actually delaying the passer and getting back there when he should be dropping straight back and throwing.
Friends, later this evening, ABC will bring you the fight of the week. Tonight's attraction will match heavyweights Billy Hunter and Mike DeJohn in a 10-round bout from New York's Madison Square Garden. This presentation is another exciting sports event brought to you by ABC.
I should have added also that play number pass, of course, is most effective on first down when they are looking for a running play. It's a fake running play and a pass.
Navy has its first team in again. Spooner throws to the flank back. Pritchard, he's up to the 50 and into Army territory. Just a quick stand up and throw out into the flat.
And that's a very fine call, too, because obviously his spread man has come back and said, my defensive man is playing me off 5 yards. If you can slip it to me fast, I'll have a little time to maneuver. And that's just what he did.
We saw Spooner have a great day against the Air Force throwing, and he's certainly having a good one today. Dropped on the 43-yard line is the Navy fullback, Matalavich. Hit down by George Pappas, the second-string fullback of the Army. Referee Kaufman. Right now, with time, they're bringing the yardsticks on for a measurement. The clock stops with 2.5 minutes to go. Navy leading 9-0. They scored in the first quarter. 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go. There's a first down, Navy. As they recovered a fumble on the Army 23, 4 plays later, Joe Bellino carried it over 4 yards to the touchdown. The kick was no good. The Navy drove again and finally kicked the field goal on fourth down by Greg Mather. That's been the scoring. Army is not threatened seriously. Pritchard is flanking. Spooner gives it off to Bellino. And Bellino slow on his feet. Now that fella can run. Bellino, incidentally, is a great baseball player. He's a catcher and a fine hitter. And many major league clubs have been interested in his services. The only man in Navy history to score 3 touchdowns against the Army. Dick Myers come in, and Bellino goes out as he gets a hand. Second down, a yard to go for the Navy. Pritchard flanking. Myers the wingback. Spooner is fading. That one is incomplete at the 15-yard line. The pass intended for Meyer.
Kurt, let me explain 2 things on that. Number one, that was a perfect stop-and-go pass. And that is set up by the passer making a fake as well as the receiver. Secondly, at the top left of your screen, we mention this every week, and you can see by the shadows, that's the sun field. And the receiver didn't even go for the ball there. He lost it completely in the sun.
Pritchard is flanking again. There's a quarterback sneak by Spooner to get the first down, keep the ball, and give Navy a chance to score again in the tail end here of the first half. And Joe Bellino's come back into the game, replacing Vic Meyer. Navy's ball, first down on the Army 30. Pritchard flanking, Spooner fading, a penalty marker's down. It's out to Pritchard as he steps out of bounds, stopping the clock with a sideline pass, of course, here in the closing minute and 15 seconds. But we have penalty markers down, and let's see what they're for. Backfield in motion. Put the ball on the Army 35, makes it first down and 15. Here's the first period score. Georgia and Georgia Tech, 0-0. And Navy leads in this game, the 61st Army-Navy game, by a score of 9-0. 1 minute and 12 seconds left to go in the first half. Pritchard flanking left this time. Spooner gives the ball to Bellino. Bellino to the 31-yard line. There's always that threat of Bellino to keep that defense guessing. 58 seconds as Navy calls time again to stop the clock. Each team is allowed 5 free timeouts in a half. And most teams, of course, save those timeouts for the situations such as this, to stop the clock where they have a chance to score, keep things going. Paul?
Here's one of our favorite subjects, and that's the Navy, and it appears a favorite of many thousands of high school graduates who are planning to go to Navy any day now. I think one of the main reasons for Navy's popularity with young men is that it offers something new and totally different from the life they have known. On every new horizon, the Navy is in there with a wedge into the future. The new streamlined Navy not only keeps up with the times, but ahead of them. It's true, some careers are almost as desirable, but since when is almost good enough for you? We were talking a little bit ago about that quick pass to the flanker by Spooner, the Navy passer. These are things that are picked up all through the ball game by the quarterback as his receivers report to him. If a man is constantly flanking and the defender is playing him off 5 or 7 or 8 or 10 yards, as has been happening in this case, there's no reason at all to report it to the quarterback, and he comes right up with that quick pass out there, and it's just a quick and easy 5 yards and a very safe pass. All right, here we go. Second down 11 for the Navy in the last minute of the first half. Spooner is throwing deep. Bellino's out there, and he can't quite get it to the goal line. Joe Bellino diving at the goal line. Had a near shot at that one. Kurt, I believe he might have had a chance at that ball, but one of those inadvertent things happened, as will happen in a ball game. There was an official in the way, and he couldn't make that cutback hit, and he ran over it. We have a third down, 11 to go for the Navy. 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Navy ahead, 9-0. Pritchard flanking. Spooner ran into one of his own backs, as you saw. There's a man wide open at the 15, and down to the 11-yard line is Pritchard. He can get himself open. The clock is moving with 35 seconds in the half. Pritchard, number 21, a very fine pass receiver. Navy's ball, first down on the 12-yard line of the Army, and 25 seconds to go in the half. Spooner fires. That one is good for the touchdown to Jim Looper. Navy scores with 16 seconds to go. Navy started that drive with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in a half. They used everything in the book, sideline passes, calling timeout, and they marched 54 yards. As Hal Spooner hit Jim Looper, the right end, for the touchdown. And Navy leads now by a score of 19-0. And they're going for 2 points. They have Pritchard flanked. They pitch out. Bellino's trying to pass. Now lobs it back to Spooner. Spooner is over. Bellino, with some quick thinking, lateral back to Spooner. The man who first gave him the ball. He was going to try a halfback pass with Bellino throwing.
As Joe Bellino not only uses his legs, but uses his head on that play, and Navy is out in front by a score of 21-0.
Kurt, that pass in that situation was an excellent call for this reason only. Not only did they get a touchdown out of it, that's what they wanted, but with the time running and less than 35 seconds to go, if they can't get it over the goal line, of course, the field goal attempt is the thing to do. And the only thing that will stop this clock in this case is an incomplete pass. So that when the pass was thrown, even though it had not gone for a score, if it were incomplete, the clock would have stopped and they would have had plenty of time to go for the field goal.
Well, let me correct that score I gave inadvertently. It is Navy 17, Army nothing. I beg your pardon. As they scored to make it 15-0, went for the 2 points to make it 17-0. Greg Mather will kick off, and Joe Blackgrove is deep with 17 seconds remaining in the first half. Blackgrove takes it a yard in the end zone. He goes for the sideline to stop the clock. 12 seconds remaining in the half. Army's ball. Navy leading 17-0. They got a touchdown in the first quarter, a field goal, a touchdown here in the second quarter, and a 2-point successful try. Payne Hardison comes in to replace Greg Mather, who just kicked off. Hardison plays in the defensive secondary. A Army man goes off the field, Bill Whitehead, and George Jalwin comes on to replace him as Whitehead gets a good hand. There's Dale Hall, and he'll have to regroup his forces at halftime. Try and stop this two-pronged Navy attack of the running of Bellino and the throwing of Hal Spooner, which has been devastating here in the second quarter. Landa throwing out of bounds on the 24 is reminded to stop the clock. Number 85, Matt Alavich, is right along there with him. He didn't want to gamble, just let him go ahead and take the ball, rather than try and maybe intercept and Zamaida go downfield for the long one.
That's exactly right. Navy in this situation was just a couple of seconds ago is willing to give them anything up to 15 or 20 yards on a completion and not let them go for the long one.
Army has about 8 seconds remaining in the first half. Blackgrove had just come in. Now, he's very fast. Let's see if they try and throw him a long one. He's number 44, and they're sending him out as a flanker. They might try and hit him with a long one. Bland is the quarterback. Landa dropping. And there's a long one, the Blackgrove. He's running deep, but he's well covered. He was smothered as he went downfield by Hardison. That was the strategy. Number 44, little Joe Blackgrove, the fastest back in the Army team. Try and hit him with a long one. We have 1 second remaining in the half, and Army still has a chance. Navy leading 17-0. With a 6-0 first quarter, 17-0 now. This will be the last play, unless something happens on it, of the first half. Split in right, Blackgrove, a flanking back left. Landed the throw. Arches another long one down to Blackgrove. It is incomplete. Incomplete at the 38-yard line. And that's the end of the first half here at Municipal Stadium in Philadelphia. The score is Navy 17 and Army nothing.
Say, what'd you get for Uncle Harry?
Oh, dear. Trust me to forget someone. Well, I'll take care of it.
Relax, madam, because the nearby store has welcomed Gillette Christmas gifts. Like this gay set that includes everything a man needs for shaving comfort. A Gillette adjustable razor, a supply of super blue blades, and foamy instant lather, all for only $2.75. The adjustable razor has a micrometer dial with 9 different settings. You adjust it instantly for any combination of skin and beard. There's a wonderfully acceptable gift. Or how about this cheery package of 50 double-edged super blue blades for only $3.45, or 30 for $2. What's better for the stocking or for very inexpensive gifts than the $1.95 adjustable razor or individual dispensers of super blues? Most stores display these and other Gillette Christmas gifts, from 69 cents or less up to $5 or more.
Holy Cross leads BC 8-0 first quarter. South Carolina leads Wake Forest 8-7. And here at halftime, the Army-Navy game. A little bit later in the half, we're going to show you the outstanding plays of the first half, the key plays of the game, by videotape. Now, many of you have never seen the midshipmen and the cadets parade on field. It usually takes place an hour and a half before kickoff. It's a thrilling sight, and one of the moments that has made the Army-Navy game such a great one. And so, by videotape, we are going to show you the pre-game parade of the midshipmen and the cadets, and let's go down to Bob Neal.
Hello, friends. We're at halftime. As Kurt was telling you, part of the great excitement of this Army-Navy game is not only the football game, but the great parade which precedes the game. As a matter of fact, people from all over the country were out here at this beautiful Philadelphia Stadium at 8 o'clock this morning. They brought their breakfast, they brought their lunch, and they were here to watch the Brigade of Midshipmen and the Corps of Cadets. And so we've got some wonderful highlights for you. Let's take a look at what they saw this morning at this great pageant of color at the Army-Navy game. Yes, the fans were seated. They were looking on, and the music started to play. And there, of course, was the beginning as the fans in the stands who had assembled so early, many of them bringing their lunches, bringing their youngsters with them, watched as the color guard, representing the wonderful Corps of Cadets from West Point. The Corps of Cadets, the long gray line, coming into Philadelphia's great stadium. The Army band was here. It was the same band that saw Army leave West Point. The team sent off with a great parade, not only of the Corps of Cadets, the band, but 5 Army tanks, bidding the Army team farewell. The football certainly has been exceeded only by the fine precision marching of these young men, representing all sections of this great United States of ours. The long gray line, which has presented to this great country of ours men like Grant, Lee, Pershing, Patton, MacArthur, and Eisenhower. These youngsters who go through one of the most precise educational facilities at West Point, where they must recite their lessons each day, work in small classes of 12 to 15 men. And, of course, the commanding superintendent of West Point is Major General William C. Westminster, or Westmoreland, I beg your pardon. There's a wonderful long view of this tremendous bowl here at Philadelphia, and the idea of the great pageantry as the folks had an opportunity to look at this wonderful Corps of Cadets, some 2,400 men strong. Down in the end zone, you can see how precise and careful the planning was as each of the various companies presented their colors. It certainly took careful execution and planning to get them precisely to each particular part. There was no confusion at all as they marched in. Each man knew exactly where he was to go, and each man did precisely move to his particular point. And as the fans stood certainly at attention, they were at attention from the moment that these gates opened, watching as the Army team took their prescribed positions and the great Corps of Cadets taking their positions in the stadium. They waited even with eager anticipation, like waiting for some great star to come out of the wings of a theater as the Navy team began to assemble. And here was the Middies coming in with their great color guard. The Navy Brigade of Midshipmen, some 3,600 strong. They came here to Philadelphia in 100 buses, and we tried to figure it out in our mathematics that that would stretch out about 3/4 of a mile. Fans certainly had an opportunity to cheer the precise marching of the 5 Middies, who have Rear Admiral John F. Davidson as their superintendent. Watching this great pageantry today, all the way out in California on ABC, is Admiral Chester Nimitz, who is also a graduate of Annapolis. And here come the Middies, who have presented to this great country of ours such men as Bull Halsey, Admiral King, Michener, Nimitz, Admiral Arleigh Burke, who's here today. And the wonderful contrast of the white caps and the blue uniforms and the white gloves certainly set off a great, indeed, colorful, precise timing in their marching. I often wondered who washes the gloves. Hey, boy! watching with great anticipation tonight, because if Navy can maintain its lead, as soon as the word reaches Annapolis that Navy has won the game, a bell will be rung, and that bell will be rung constantly until the Navy team arrives tomorrow. And then if Navy should win this game, the members of the winning team, the coaching staff, will get a chance to ring the E-bell. Look how careful in the detail and the symmetry of motion that these young men do represent. And there's a wonderful brigade. They're all in companies, you'll notice. Each one comes to its prescribed point. So that marvelous line. These young men not only know how to march, look very attractive, also go through a very difficult and rigid academic course, as do the men of Army. Yes, the typical boy, USA, is a middy from Annapolis. Could be your son, boy down the street. And the color guard certainly caused everyone to not only anticipate this great game, but to reflect on the glory of Old Glory. So now you have an idea of why not only is the Army-Navy game a great football battle, but the pregame color, which is so exciting, which presents the traditional rivalry of the Corps of Cadets and the Brigade of Midshipmen. There's the white caps. Well, there you have some of the colors, some of the excitement, some of the activity that was here earlier today. And the second half of this football game yet to come on a big Army-Navy day. The Brigade of Midshipmen moving off. And at halftime, the score with Navy leading. Now let's go back up to Paul Christman.
In just a moment, we'll be back with more of the halftime festivities here at Municipal Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Hi. This year, there are two ways to give L&M. First, your cigarette dealer has attractive holiday gift cartons like these. And new this year, 2 cartons of L&M Kings with a free Christmas record attached. It's a 33 1/3 RPM recording of 5 favorite Christmas carols, sung in old-time harmony by our L&M Quartet. Listen.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
The sound of Christmas. The taste of L&M. Brought together in this special holiday gift pack. You buy 2 cartons of L&M Kings, you get our Christmas record free. Only your L&M dealer has it. But his supplies are limited. See him soon.
This is Kurt Gowdy along with Paul Christman and Bob Neal here at Philadelphia Stadium. Remember, NCAA college football is brought to you each week by the Gillette Safety Razor Company, maker of the remarkable Super Blue Blade that gives you all but unbelievable shaving comfort. And by L&M, let your taste come alive. Reach for flavor, reach for L&M. And by the Humble Oil and Refining Company with 30,000 happy motoring stations coast to coast.
And now let's pause for station identification.
A chiseling sculptress plays a part in the mystery of a missing judge in the Roaring Twenties. That's the Roaring Twenties.
Tonight on ABC.
Here we are at halftime. Navy out in front by a score of 17-0. Here we are at halftime with Navy out in front of Army 17-0. And in just a moment or two, we're going to show you by videotape the highlight plays of the first half of this 61st meeting between Army and Navy. Now, you'll remember earlier in the game, Army kicked out on the Navy 1-yard line, and now we're going to show you a play that really demonstrates the tremendous running ability of Navy's All-American Joe Bellino. This will be the longest gain from scrimmage in the game for 57 yards, and I think Paul Crispin will agree with me that Bellino's one of the best running backs he's ever seen.
He is, Kurt, and pay close attention to the way he sidesteps and moves laterally on this. Watch this real close. It's a very good example. Watch him jump sideways.
There he goes. Look at him get out of those tackles, number 27. He's being chased by Adams, number 16, who missed him. Kirschenbauer finally bulldogs him down.
That's what it was, a bulldozing tackle. And this is about what you have to do with him. As you mentioned, Kurt, he has tremendous legs. And as I mentioned earlier, too, I think he is probably the best sidestepping running back. He has great speed, too, since Charlie Trippi. And as I mentioned also, he's a little bit heavier than Trippi, and he's also built a little closer to the ground. At a low center of gravity, he's real tough to bring down. He moves in all directions real well. He doesn't break his stride too much. And this is the mark of a great runner, because most men lose a lot of time when they start moving laterally. This fella doesn't. He cuts that square corner. He can really go.
Well, that play brought Navy out of a hole. They went to the Army 12. They were stopped, tried a field goal. A little bit later, Navy recovers a fumble, and here's Mr. Bellino in action again. Then the first touchdown of the game. Into the end zone, 4 yards. He scored 3 last year, and he gets 1 today, Paul.
And you notice that last 1-yard lunge there. He just couldn't, he would not be stopped on that.
Incidentally, Joe's family, there's his mother, Mrs. Bellino, and his family. His brother is a great athlete at Winchester High School, and they've sort of dominated. Hello, folks. The Bellino family right now mighty proud and happy, but, of course, Army still has something to say about it in the second half. And as we said, Bellino is the most famous midshipman in the history of West Point, as for the last 2 weeks, signs all over West Point stopped Bellino. But Bellino, in the first half, has gained 82 yards rushing. He's averaged 8 yards a carry. But we've also had another player on that Navy team that a former great passer, Paul Crispin, I know, admires his work in the first half. The quarterback, Hal Spooner, has completed 12 out of 18 passes, Paul.
This is kind of what we expected, Kurt, because as we mentioned, Spooner is not known as a great passer. He hasn't been a great passer all year, but he threw a fine ball and impressed us very much in that Air Force game, which we saw earlier in the season. And as I mentioned also, he has that very important thing, that timing, on getting the ball away on time, and he does it beautifully, gets the ball there, and no matter how it looks, all the gentlemen who coach this ball game will tell you if the ball gets there, it can be thrown sideways. They don't care.
Toward the end of the first half, Navy, as you know, is racing against the clock. They made a drive of 54 yards as they were out in front. And if we get time here and the facilities, we're going to try and show you Spooner in action again for Navy's last touchdown of the first half to their fine right end, number 82, Jim Looper. Paul, I think one of the surprises maybe earlier in the game was Army not passing as much as we thought they might, but we'll see in the second half. But right now we're going back here by videotape and see if we can pick up another one of the key plays. Here is Army on defense, Navy with about 20 seconds to go in the half.
Watch Spooner rifle that thing in here now.
Here he is firing, and Looper right on the goal line falls into the end zone. That's the Navy last touchdown of the half. They got 2 points, and the halftime score stands Navy 17 and Army nothing. The Army team has attempted just 7 passes, completed 3, while Navy's attempted 19 and completed 12. But Paul Crispin will give you more of a recap and the statistics of the first half. Here we are at halftime with Navy out in front of Army 17-0. And in just a moment or two, we're going to show you by videotape the highlight plays of the first half of this 61st meeting between Army and Navy. Now, you'll remember earlier in the game, Army kicked out on the Navy 1-yard line, and now we're going to show you a play that really demonstrates the tremendous running ability of Navy's All-American Joe Bellino. This will be the longest gain from scrimmage in the game for 57 yards, and I think Paul Crispin will agree with me that Bellino's one of the best running backs he's ever seen.
He is, Kurt, and pay close attention to the way he sidesteps and moves laterally on this. Watch this real close. It's a very good example. Watch him jump sideways.
There he goes. Look at him get out of those tackles, number 27. He's being chased by Adams, number 16, who missed him. Kirschenbauer finally bulldogs him down.
That's what it was, a bulldozing tackle. And this is about what you have to do with him. As you mentioned, Kurt, he has tremendous legs. And as I mentioned earlier, too, I think he is probably the best sidestepping running back. He has great speed, too, since Charlie Trippi. And as I mentioned also, he's a little bit heavier than Trippi, and he's also built a little closer to the ground. Has a low center of gravity. He's real tough to bring down. He moves in all directions real well. He doesn't break his stride too much. And this is the mark of a great runner, because most men lose a lot of time when they start moving laterally. This fella doesn't. He cuts that square corner. He can really go.
Well, that play brought Navy out of a hole. They went to the Army 12. They were stopped, tried a field goal. A little bit later, Navy recovers a fumble, and here's Mr. Bellino in action again. And the first touchdown of the game. Into the end zone, 4 yards. He scored 3 last year, and he gets 1 today, Paul.
And you notice that last 1 yard lunge there. He just couldn't, he would not be stopped on that.
Incidentally, Joe's family, there's his mother, Mrs. Bellino, and his family. His brother is a great athlete at Winchester High School, and they've sort of dominated. Hello, folks. The Bellino family right now mighty proud and happy, but of course Army still has something to say about it in the second half. And as we said, Bellino is the most famous midshipman in the history of West Point, as for the last 2 weeks, signs all over West Point stop Bellino. But Bellino in the first half has gained 82 yards rushing. He's averaged 8 yards a carry. But we've also had another player on that Navy team that a former great passer, Paul Christman, I know, admires his work in the first half. The quarterback, Hal Spooner, has completed 12 out of 18 passes, Paul.
This is kind of what we expected, Kurt, because as we mentioned, Spooner is not known as a great passer. He hasn't been a great passer all year, but he threw a fine ball and impressed us very much in that Air Force game, which we saw earlier in the season. And as I mentioned also, he has that very important thing, that timing, on getting the ball away on time, and he does it beautifully, gets the ball there, and no matter how it looks, all the gentlemen who coach this ball game will tell you if the ball gets there, it can be thrown sideways. They don't care.
Toward the end of the first half, Navy, as you know, was racing against the clock. They made a drive of 54 yards as they were out in front. And if we get time here and the facilities, we're going to try and show you Spooner in action again for Navy's last touchdown of the first half to their fine right end, number 82, Jim Looper. Paul, I think one of the surprises maybe earlier in the game was Army not passing as much as we thought they might, but we'll see in the second half. But right now we're going back here by videotape and see if we can pick up another one of the key plays. Here is Army on defense, Navy with about 20 seconds to go in the half.
Watch Spooner rifle that thing in here now.
Here he is firing, and Looper right on the goal line falls into the end zone. That's the Navy last touchdown of the half. They got 2 points, and the halftime score stands Navy 17 and Army nothing. The Army team has attempted just 7 passes, completed 3, while Navy's attempted 19 and completed 12. But Paul Christman will give you more of a recap and the statistics of the first half.
We have had, as we did in the pregame, a lot of stunts going on here during the half. First downs, here comes the Army team out, and that cannon signals their arrival each time. And they're getting a fine cheer, incidentally, from their own classmates. I was just going to mention the Navy has 11 first downs to Army's 5, and the net yards gained rushing, Navy has 75 and Army 56. We spoke a little earlier about the fact that the Army has only thrown 3 or 4 passes in the first half. Now, Tom Blanda is a very fine passer, and whether his coach has decided that they should go with a running game, we don't know, but he has not thrown much yet. But he has the ability to throw, and with this Navy lead, I rather suspect that we're going to see quite a bit of Army passing in the second half. There's the Army spilled out on the field there. one thing you will note about this ball game, and that is neither side ever loses its enthusiasm, no matter what the score is.
Now, in just a minute, we'll be set for the start of the second half from Philadelphia Stadium, where the score is Navy 17 and Army nothing.
Tires that grip the road so well you can't make them squeal. Just one of the many reasons why the revolutionary no-squeal Atlas Bucron tire is such a tremendous success. Since their introduction last year, Atlas Bucron tires have chalked up almost 1 billion consumer-tested miles, proving that they do ride, stop, look, and last like no others. Motorists were amazed at the safer stopping power of Atlas Bucron tires. Why, these tires actually stop faster on wet pavement than ordinary tires do on dry. And drivers praised Atlas Bucron tires for their comfort. As these special films show, while ordinary tires bounce over rough roads, Atlas Bucron tires literally flow over them, giving you the quietest, smoothest, most comfortable ride ever. And yet, they cost less than most premium tires. So see these remarkable Atlas Bucron tires at your Esso dealers. They're another important reason why the Esso sign is the world's first choice.
Philadelphia Stadium, as the Navy team has come back on the field. Army is already out. And now we look forward to a torrid second half of this 61st meeting. Army has won 30, Navy 25. There have been 5 ties. The Navy Goat, as you see, is leading the Navy squad on the field. It's the Navy Goat and the Army Mule. Here's anchors away. Now they're discussing the option for the second half. The team that lost the toss of the coin gets the option of what to do to open the second half. And in just a moment, we'll see what that option has been. For those that have joined us late, Navy's in the dark jerseys and Army's in white.
Kurt, I'd like to ask one thing of you. I don't know whether you have any inside information. You suppose Mr. Bellino has his same bet with the barber that he had in the Air Force game?
That was the barber. He bet that Navy would defeat Air Force by 30 points and he would score 3 touchdowns. I think Wayne Harden kiddingly told Bellino this week, listen, don't make any bet. That Army will be mad enough without you betting. Navy is going to defend the goal on your right, and Army the goal on your left. Navy checking in its first team. Army is going to receive, and Navy will be kicking off, which means that Greg Mather will be doing the kicking. Number 44 is Joe Blackgrove, the scat back of the Army. He'll be the deep man back on the 5-yard line.
Way back.
Navy ahead, 17-0. Number 85 is Greg Mather from Woodland Hills, California. A junior, 212 pounds. And now here we go for the second half of Army and Navy. Fumbled on the 10-yard line, picked up by Kirschenbauer to the 15 to the 20, and downed on his 22-yard line by Greg Mather, who did the kicking off, number 85. We have had tremendous play by the ends of both teams today.
Here's your passing yardage from the first half. 12 for 19 for Spooner and the Navy for 126 yards. 3 for 7 for Bland and the Army for a total of 36 yards.
Army breaking up now out of the huddle with Blanda, 18, a quarterback. Blanda to Kirschenbauer. Kirschenbauer doesn't get much as he runs into the middle of that Navy line, led by Steve Hoy and John Hewitt. Hoy is 66. Also is Visted, 52. Visted's been an outstanding center for Navy all year. Second down, 9 to go for the Army. 28-yard line, spilled by Dadlio and Driscoll. Glenn Adams, number 16, carried. Dadlio is 88.
We haven't had much opportunity to mention the linemen in this game today, but the one candidate for the Army, for All-American possibilities at least, is Al Vanderbush, number 64, their left guard. You people who like to watch linemen, he just pulled out there and made a fine block.
The lonely end is out, and splitting wide is the flank back, Kirschenbauer. Here's a draw play coming up over the 30 is Adams, brought down by Ron McKean in the Navy secondary, helped by John Hewitt. Glenn Adams carried the ball, number 16. That's very close to a first down, so close that they want to measure. We're 2 minutes into the third quarter with Navy out in front, 17-0. Navy has won 8 and lost 1 this year. They win this game, they'll very likely go to one of the major bowl games, and there's a chance Army might, if they could win. Army's won 6, lost 2, and tied 1. Here's the measurement. That's close. That ball just, the nose of the ball just nudging, and it was so close, you saw referee Coffin had to take a real look at it. Here's a halftime score, Georgia Tech 6 and Georgia nothing.
As a point of information on that measurement, if the nose of the ball even touches the post, that's far enough for a 1st and 10. It doesn't have to exceed the post.
Army's ball, first down on the Army 32. Got the lonely end out, Zamita. Adams in motion. Landis fading. A quick pass, incomplete. Pass intended for Kirschenbauer. Kirschenbauer, number 45. Wayne Hardison was right on top of Kirschenbauer. Second down, 10 to go for Army. Landis a quarterback. Kirschenbauer and Adams the halfbacks, and Rushatz to the fullback. Zamita goes out as a lonely end. In motion, Adams. Landa fading. The pass, good to the 45. Up to the 50 is John Ellerson, left end, from Hampton, Virginia. He was pulled down by Payne Hardison and Ron McKean. And now Army, a team that didn't throw the ball much in the first half, is starting to move in the air. Army's ball, first down. Let's call it the Navy 48. Really the 48 and a half, but it's a little bit closer to the 48. Lonely end is out. Zamita. Adams in motion. Landa fading again. Out to the lonely end. He's got it. And he's dropped on the 36-yard line. Paul Zamita, number 85, brought down by John Pritchard. The lonely end, you know, invented by Red Blake, didn't used to join the huddle. They gave him hand and foot signals. But Dale Hall said he was afraid the opponents were stealing the sign, so they've got him in the huddle this year. And he's the lonely end, Paul Zamita. Army's moving now in the air. They have a first down on the Navy 36. Zamita split wide to the right of the lonely end. They give the ball to Rushatz at the 30, to the 25, to the 20, and down to the 18-yard line. Al Rushatz, number 31, Army's leading ground gainer. Frank Vistit stopped him, and Army is moving. That run was good for 18 yards. First down Army on the Navy 18. Zamita split wide. In motion is Adams. Fading is Blanda. The quick pass is good to the 13-yard line to Kirschenbauer, number 45.
You know, there's nothing that'll give a passer confidence in a couple of completions in a row. It looks like Tom Blanda has settled down now, and he's throwing very well.
We saw some sensational passing by Hal Spooner in the first half, and now Tom Blanda in the second half. Blanda set the all-time Army record a couple of 3 weeks ago against Pittsburgh. They give it to Rushatz as he cracks to the 10-yard line. Al Rushatz, the fullback. At the bottom of that Navy pile is Frank Vistit again, number 52.
He's been consistently giving the ball to the fullback on that drive series, and we can almost expect the fake to him and a pitch out before too long.
Army's ball, third down, 2 to go. Navy's ahead, 17-0. Nearly 5 minutes gone in the third quarter. as Army's in the midst of a tremendous drive. There's the lonely and Zamaida, number 85. Blanda gives the ball off to Kirschenbauer as he hits for that first down. George Kirschenbauer from Allendale, New Jersey, a junior. Ron McKean spelled him. First down and goal to go for Army. This is a 71-yard drive by the Army right now, and Navy wants to call time. It is timeout here at Philadelphia Stadium with a score, Navy 17 and Army nothing.
In today's L&M, fine tobaccos can be blended.
Blended, blended, blended.
Not to suit a filter, but to suit your taste. Friendly flavor that doesn't dry out your taste ever.
L&M has found the secret that unlocks the flavor in a filter cigarette.
Reach for flavor. Reach for L&M.
Army has spun off 5 first downs in a row. Tom Blanda's hit 3 out of 4 passes on this drive as Army has moved 71 yards, taking the kickoff of the second half. Dale Hall, the Army coach, of course, hoping his team can grab a quick score here and put Army back into the game. First down and goal to go. It's Blanda to Adams. He's cutting to the 5, to the 3. Glenn Adams running hard on the power play off tackle. Frank Visted, John Hewitt, and Ron Urschel stopped him. It'll be second down, and let's make it 4 to go for an Army touchdown. Second down, 4 to go. Adams in motion. Rushat. Navy expected Rushat's up the middle. Ron Urschel hit him. Number 62, Hewitt's played a tremendous game also today for Navy. It's on the 2-yard line now. And these last yards inside the 10 are hard to get. That fellow's really set up for cheering, isn't he? Third down and 2 to go for an Army touchdown. Zamaida's the lonely end. Kirschenbauer almost to that goal line. They'll have to untangle. Looks like he's about a foot short. Kirschenbauer drove to the 1-foot line. Gatlio and Frank Visted made the tackle. And this is a big play for Army.
I was going to say the understatement of the year would be to say this is a big play. It really is for Army.
Fourth down, a foot to go. And going in Rushat, Army scores. Scores to cap an Army drive that carried 78 yards in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 plays. Navy gave ground grudgingly there in that last 7 yards, but Al Rushatz from Allentown, Pennsylvania, the junior fullback of the Army, their leading ground gainer, carried it over, and it's now 17-6 in favor of Navy. A touchdown came with 7 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the third period. Army's going to go for 2. Blanda fakes Adams. He throws. No good. Pass intended for Zamaida, number 85. So our score remains Navy 17 and Army 6. John Pritchard was trying to cover Zamaida. As we told you, in the first half, Army threw that ball sparingly, but now they've opened up. They put that lonely end out. Blanda took to the air, and Paul, that was a beautiful drive.
That was well conducted and a fine quarterbacking job all the way down the line. Now, there's the Army mule, incidentally. Two of them and three of them. And in fact, they're probably pretty happy about this time. That was a fine sequence all the way down the field, as we mentioned, by Tom Blanda. And he's calling his own signals, incidentally. They are not changing players in there. His coach is not to call the signals for him. And he mixed them up very well, runs and passes inside and outside, and handled it perfectly all the way down.
We had a penalty on the extra point, so Army will kick off from the Navy 45. Tom Blanda, the Army quarterback, will do the kicking. South Carolina leads Wake Forest 15-14 at the end of the half. Here's the boot by Blanda. Out of bounds. Tom Blanda, whose brother is George Blanda, great professional star with the Chicago Bears and now the Houston Oilers. Blanda's quite a place-kicking specialist himself. He's kicked 4 field goals this year, and also is Army's extra-point kicker. It was Blanda's field goal that beat Syracuse for Army. Army this time will kick it off from the 50-yard line. A penalty took place on the try for extra point. Bellino will be one of the deep men on the near side, and Pritchard on the far side for Navy. They're 2 deep men. Here's Blanda booting again. This one's fumbled in the end zone. Bellino running it out. And they've got him on the 12-yard line. Gary Clements, number 72, down covering the kickoff. Navy dominating the first half. Army coming back to march 78 yards for a touchdown in the second half. Navy has Hal Spooner quarterback. Bellino left half, 27. McKeon at fullback and Pritchard at right half. Pritchard is flanking. On the cross buck, it is McKeon who carries. Number 36 from El Paso, Al Rushatz. And Gary Clemens in on a tackle for Army. A yard gain, second down. 9 to go. Well, a team can get fired up, Army, for that drive. There goes Pritchard flanking wide again. There's Bellino trying to get outside. And they spill him down short of the 15-yard line. Joe Bellino trying to get running room outside as he was driven out by Kirschenbauer. Third down now and 8 to go. Army hoping to hold, get that ball, and try and move again. We have 6 minutes, 35 seconds left to go in the third period. Pritchard flanking. They draw play. It is given to Bellino. Spooner faded back with a fake pass to Bellino, who went to the 15-yard line. Number 54 is George Jalwin, and number 76 is Dale Kuhn in on that last tackle. And now Navy presented with a 4th down situation. 4th and 7. Greg Mather will go in to do the punting, as Army's going to drop back a safety man, number 44, Joe Blackgrove. Mather will boot it from about his 4-yard line with a slight wind at his back. Gets it away. Big high kick that they get some good coverage on is bounding around in Army territory and is dead on the Army 44-yard line. Kick from scrimmage 41 yards. A fine punt by Greg Mather. John Hewitt, number 62, was down there to cover the punt. All right, Army's ball. Last time they had it, they marched 78 yards for a touchdown. Let's see what they do now. Payne Hardison comes in defense for the Navy in the secondary, replacing Spooner. Army has that same backfield in there. Blanda, Kirschenbauer, Rushatz, and Adams. Zamida, the lonely end, split wide to the right. Kirschenbauer in motion, it goes to Adams on a counter play. He picks up 2 yards to the Army 46-yard line. Frank Visted, number 52, and number 67, Doug Faulkner, in on the tackle. Ron McCune in at fullback. Matalavich out for the Navy. Second down, 8 to go for Army. The score is 17-6 in favor of the Navy. Kirschenbauer flanked wide with a long end to the right. Landa throwing the pass to the 45, up to the 50, to the 45 is Rushat, and driving for the first down. Al Rushat, number 31. We have a penalty marker down, however. And that Army first down may be nullified. And that's downfield, the ineligible receiver. Ineligible receiver downfield in the pass. That'll be a loss of 15 yards. Ineligible receiver downfield for the Army. Well, that's a tough one for the Cadets.
And as we have mentioned several times previously in this season, the tip-off on that screen pass coming up is when the passer drops back, instead of the usual 7 yards, he drops back about 15, trying to draw those defensive men, those linemen in, and tosses off to the side. But when he goes back so deep, you can almost tell the screen is coming up.
Army now has a second down and 22 yards to go. Landa fading. Here's the pass to the sidelines. Zamita knocked away on a great defensive effort by the Navy's McCune, the fullback, number 36. You saw him dive for that one. Third down and 22 to go. Army's ball on the Army 32. Dick Eckert, number 10, is coming to quarterback for the Army, replacing Tom Landa. The score is 17-6, Navy leading. We have 4.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Kirschenbauer out in motion. Rolling out is Eckert. Eckert throws a screen pass back to the far side. They were trying to unroll the screen pass again, but couldn't get it moving. It was to Rushat. Navy had that one smothered. And Army has a fourth down coming with 22 yards to go. Paul Stanley, number 40, the Army punter, comes in, replacing Dick Eckert. And Navy has sent Joe Bellino into the game to drop back as their safety man. There he is, number 27. The high pass, they're in trouble, and Navy will take over on the Army 17-yard line. Look at that charge. McCune is 36, number 62. Hewitt has been outstanding as a defensive guard for the Navy today. Hal Spooner comes in, replacing Payne Hardison in the Navy backfield. Navy's ball on the Army 18, first down. They have a timeout coming up. Timeout on Navy. It's timeout here at Philadelphia Stadium with the score, Navy 17 and Army 6.
The new cars are really great this year with fabulous new styling, dramatic new features.
Two minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the third period. Navy ahead, 17-6. In motion is Adams. Fumble. The handoff was to Rushat. Looks like he recovered his own fumble. Number 31 down at the bottom of the pile, Al Rushat. Right on top of him was John Hewitt and Ron Urschel for the Navy. Second down, 10 to go for the Army. Navy's in a 5-4 right now. Here's Adams for the 20. And to his 23-yard line, met by 64, Tony Lucci from Ehrenfeld, Pennsylvania, and Frank Datlio from Winchester, Massachusetts, number 88. Army is sending in Gary Clements maybe with a play, number 72 at right tackle, replacing Bob McCarthy. Third down and 4 to go for Army on their own 23. Zamita, the lonely end out to the left. Adams in motion. Landa throwing a slant pass to the lonely end. Zamita, who just slants in from the far sideline. John Pritchard tackled him, and he's down on the Army 31.
And that's one of the most difficult patterns in the world for a defensive team to cover. A real fine call there, because the receiver is running at a 45-degree angle across the field, and he's running opposite the path of all of the defenders.
Army now has completed 7 for 15 passes in the game. The lonely Enzamite is out again. Blanda to Adams. Adams over his 35 and up to his 37-yard line. Spilled by Tony Lucci. It is 2nd down and 4 to go for the Army. They've marched 78 yards for 1 touchdown in this quarter. McEwen replaces Matt Lavage in the Navy backfield. Zamita split wide again. Blanda to Rushat on the belly play, hitting up the middle to the Army 40-yard line. Number 67, Doug Faulkner, was the man who brought Rushat down. We have 15 seconds left to go in this quarter. 3rd down and a yard to go for the Army. Pete King's in at halfback now for Army, number 24. And there he is carrying. And he tries to get up to his 40. He may not have made it. Tony Lucci stopped him as he was trying to drive for that 1st down. And it's the end of the 3rd quarter here with the score, Navy 17 and Army 6.
Here's a man who's in for a shaving treat. Santa fixed him up with a luxurious Gillette Executive Adjustable Razor. It's handsomely gold-plated, a gift anyone can use with pride and great satisfaction. There are 9 different blade settings on this micrometer dial. It adjusts the blade edge instantly for any combination of skin and beard. The price, $5. You get clean, comfortable shaves. Or here's the gift set for only $2.75. A Gillette adjustable razor, a dispenser of Super Blue blades, and foamy instant lather. And for inexpensive gifts, just see these Gillette Super Blue blades in gay gift wrappings, 50 for $3.45, 30 for $2. A nearby store has these and other Gillette gifts from 69 cents or less to $5 or more.
As we go to the 4th quarter, here's Paul Chrisman.
That last play is going to live to hunt Mr. Blanda, because he had 3rd down and about 2.5 feet to go, and he elected to run the wide play, and you saw what happened. This is not offered as a second guess, because when you go for the wide play in that situation, instead of the 1st down, you might pick yourself up 35 yards, and that's what he tried to do. But in this case, a man broke through, and that cost him the 1st and 10.
All right, here's a big play for Army. 4th and a yard to go. Eckert's the quarterback. He's a good runner, and he gives the ball to the fullback, Rushat, who bangs through and looks like he's got that 1st down. Al Rushat, that was a vital play for the Army. 1st down for Army as they kept the ball. They gambled in their own territory. They're trailing 17-6, and they have to retain possession. Eckert, number 10, running the club. Kirschenbauer in motion. There's Eckert to the 45, to the 50. Dick Eckert, who is a better running back than Tom Blanda, but not as good as passer. Eckert's a sophomore from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. John Zenya stopped him.
And I believe that's the first time we've seen him fail to hand off to the fullback on that drive series. And, of course, he picked up some very fine yardage there, because Navy, by this time, is playing to the inside.
2nd down and 2 to go for the Army on the 50-yard line, or just nudging into Navy territory. In motion is King. Eckhart to Kirschenbauer. He might have got a yard. George Kirschenbauer. Number 61 was Vern Bonsido, and number 80 is Gary Kellner for the Navy. They have 3rd down and a yard to go. Navy ahead in the Navy territory. In motion is King. Eckhart to Kirschenbauer. He might have got a yard. George Kirschenbauer. Number 61 was Vern Bonsido, And number 80 is Gary Kellner for the Navy. They have third down and a yard to go. Navy ahead, 17-6, a minute and a half gone in the fourth quarter. Demita split wide. Rushat's on the quick opener to the 34-yard line of the Navy, where Al Hughes had to stop him along with Vic Meyer, or he might have been gone.
Just the fact that Eckert kept the ball in the last play and failed to hand off to the fullback, that opened up that sequence in this case, because this time he did hand off to the fullback, and Navy again has expected him to go wide because they've been running inside all day. So when he came back with the inside play, it opened beautifully.
That was a 15-yard run by Rushat. Army's ball first down on the Navy 34. Kirschenbauer in motion with the end split. Eckert is fading, throws the pass. It is good at the 27-yard line to Ellerson, number 87. Tony Lucci drifted over to help bring him down. 7-yard gain. Second down and 3 to go. And this has been a different Army team in the second half than in the first half. They have stopped Navy. Army's marched 78 yards for one touchdown, and they're in a drive right now. Second down, about 3 to go for the Army. Kirschenbauer in motion. Eckert keeping the ball out to Kirschenbauer, and he's hit for a loss. Dropped back in the 30-yard line by Greg Mather.
Well, by now we have a real guessing game going on that play, and this time Navy guessed right and Army guessed wrong, and this is what makes this game so interesting, because you're always trying to outguess that defense.
Tom Bland has come back in at quarterback for the Army, replacing Dick Eckert. Third down and 5 to go for Army. On the Navy 30. King's in motion. Bland is fading, under pressure, completes the pass to the 20-yard line. And driving to the 17-yard line is Kirschenbauer, number 45, a junior from Allendale, New Jersey. Lander was sent in to pass, and he's been a hot passer in the second half, just as Hal Spooner was a blistering passer for Navy in the first half. Army's ball first down on the Navy 17. The lonely end is out. In motion is Kirschenbauer. Landed to Rushat. Rushat picks up a couple of yards. The middle of that Navy line, number 61, Von Sydow. And there's number 65, Dick Fitzgerald, the tackle on the play. Now Dick Eckert is back in at quarterback as Dale Hall is alternating those quarterbacks for the signals. Number 10 is Eckert. Good runner, remember, on the rollout play. Second down, 8 to go for the Army. Kirschenbauer in motion. Eckert keeping the ball. A lateral out to King, and King is out on the 9-yard line of the Navy. Pete King from Watson, New Jersey. Driven out. Gary Kellner drove him out of bounds. The clock stops. We have a little over 10 minutes left in the game. And a third down and 2 to go for Army on the Navy 9-yard line. Navy's ahead 17-6. Eckert to Rushat. Rushat almost to the 5-yard line. Tony Lucci hit him. Vern Von Sydow and the cadets now are rooting their team on. As that's a first down for Army and goal to go on the Navy 5. And look at Army. And Rushat's has been tough for Army in the second half, up the middle. Kirschenbauer in motion. Eckert keeping, still on his feet. Dick Eckert, a fine runner for a quarterback, a sophomore. As you saw, was hit behind the line of scrimmage, but shook away. And Lucci brought him down on the half-yard line. Second down and a half yard to go for an Army touchdown. Army's already marched 78 yards for one score in the second half. And here they are right on the Navy goal line. Rushat scores 31. That's his second touchdown in the game, and Army's right back in here. That makes it now Navy 17 and Army 12. Tom Bland has come in to replace the sophomore quarterback, Dick Ecker. That was quite a drive, as Army went 83 yards on that drive. They have marked 78 and 83. They're going for the 2 points. Bland is fading. The pass intercepted, no good in the end zone. They try for point, no good. And it is timeout here at Philadelphia Stadium with the score, Navy 17 and Army 12.
2 seconds. 2 seconds. Now a man's deodorant. New Gillette Right Guard. 2 seconds give you 24-hour protection. Dries instantly on contact. Only new Right Guard, the power spray deodorant, can give you complete protection. So fast, so conveniently. Not this, messy creams you have to rub in. Not this, gummy roll-ons that waste time. Not this, hit-and-miss sprays that drip. But this, push-button power spray ease and speed, cool and refreshing. And Right Guard dries on contact. It destroys odor-causing bacteria, checks perspiration, gets right through for complete coverage where odor begins. So remember, with new Right Guard deodorant for men,
2 seconds gives you 24-hour protection.
Get Right Guard today at a nearby store. Just 89 cents.
Army will kick off. Army's made 10 first downs in the second half. Navy none. Army's marched 78 yards and 83 yards for touchdowns. There's 21, John Pritchard, and 27, Joe Bellino, deep for Navy. And Tom Bland is kicking off. Pritchard takes it on the 2-yard line. He's brought down on his 23-yard line by Al Vanderbush, Army's co-captain. And also George Jalwin, number 54. Well, Navy hasn't had the ball much in this second half. It's been almost 2 complete different games. Navy dominated the first half and Army the second half. Now Hal Spooner will be in a quarterback for the Navy. Bellino and Pritchard at halfback and Matalavage at fullback. They're asking the crowd to quiet down. Also, Army is going to call time. There's Wayne Harden, the Navy coach, who saw his team leave the field with a 17-0 halftime lead. And now has watched Army march for 2 long touchdowns, and this is shaping up into one of the best of all Navy-Army games, and there have been some great ones. You know, during the course of this NCAA football television series, we've attempted to tell you a bit of what the NCAA is and what it does. Simply and plainly, the National Collegiate Athletic Association is the colleges and universities of the nation speaking of and acting on athletic matters at the national level. Through the years, the NCAA has become the keystone of intercollegiate athletics. Founded 55 years ago by 13 institutions to save the game of football, the NCAA today is composed of 562 colleges and universities, athletic conferences and associations devoted to the sound administration of intercollegiate athletics in all its phases. Through the NCAA, these colleges and universities accomplish such things as establish and enforce rules of eligibility, formulate the playing rules for 15 sports, publish rule books and guides, conduct 16 national championship events. Through the NCAA, they act on and speak of athletic matters at a national level. Navy's ball on their 23-yard line. The ball goes to Matalavage, the fullback, where he's dropped by 54 Jalwin and 62 Mike Cass. Now the time is, of course, going to be all important. We have 8.5 minutes left in the game. Navy leading 17-12. Pritchard has gone out and Al Hughes has gone in the Navy backfield. Hughes is flanking to the right. Spooner is fading. Firing deep to Hughes. Or to Bellino. Downfield. As Navy gambling behind tried to go for the long one.
And now, of course, we've seen the same psychology we've seen game after game this season. When a team gets a lead and sort of loses its momentum, the question is whether they can pick up that momentum again and get back on the track. And also the question is now whether to play it cozy and protect that small lead or gamble and try to get another score and put the game on ice.
Hughes is flanking left. It's third down. Spooner is fading, and he's hit. Number 83 broke in to get him. Bob Metzer. Just came into the game. Bob Metzer in. It's down now on the Navy 16 and the Cadets. Greg Mather will go in on fourth down. They put it on the Navy 14. And Army is dropping back. Little Joe Blackgrove, number 44. Mather's on the goal line to kick. Kick is coming up. The 45 to midfield, and it'll be dead on the Navy 49-yard line. Army's ball. 38-yard kick from scrimmage, no return. As Army takes over, the clock is moving with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left to play. 17-12, Navy ahead. Navy scored all their points in the first half. Army's put on 2 long marches to dominate the second half. Number 18 is Blanda, the quarterback. Metzer is split wide, the end. There goes that fullback. Pappas this time, the second string fullback. Stopped by Hewitt and Visted. Faulkner also on the play. On the 45-yard line of the Navy, Zamida and Metzer, and it ends for the Army. Second down and 6 to go. Now this time they don't put out the lonely end. Landed Adams. He was hit head on by number 52, Visted, who slowed him down. And Hardison had Hughes in the secondary, came up to make the tackle. A yard-and-a-half gain.
Now, Blanda has had very fine success in passing situation with that hooking man down the middle, and it has been open pretty regular. Let's see if he stays with that or goes to the outside.
Army has a third down and 4 to go on the Navy 43-yard line. Army trailing 17-12. In motion is Kirschenbauer. Blanda rush. That one is incomplete. No good at the Navy 39-yard line. Broken up by Visted, 52, intended for Ellerson, number 87.
I think he tried the outside there just as much to get a completion as if he completed it. The man could have stepped out of bounds and stopped this clock because it is starting to get close now. It's 5.5 minutes.
Fourth down for the Army and 4 to go on the Navy 43. Stanley's come in as the Army punter. Bellino is going back deep for the Navy. And the boot is sailing into the end zone for the touchback. Navy's ball on their 20, first down. Army had 2 long drives to score. This time they were stopped by Navy. The clock shows exactly 5.5 minutes left to play. We have a new quarterback now for the Navy, Harry Dietz, number 15. Army's asking for timeout. It is timeout here at Philadelphia Stadium with the score Navy 17 and Army 12.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day.
Here's a gift that's a beauty and a winner for friends, family, any man on your Christmas list. The Gillette Executive Adjustable Razor. It adjusts instantly at a turn of the dial to match any combination of skin and beard. Richly gold-plated, it comes in this modern case, priced $5. Here's another winner. Gillette Super Blue Blades in gaily holiday wrap packages, 30 for $2 or 50 for $3.45. Or this handsomely packaged gift set, including the Gillette Adjustable Razor, Super Blue Blades, and Foamy Instant Lather, only $2.75. Stocking gifts or inexpensive remembrances? Well, how can you top the $1.95 adjustable razor or a package of Gillette Super Blue blades? Be sure to look for the complete line of Gillette Christmas gifts from 69 cents or less to $5 or more.
Kurt Gowdy with Paul Christman again, as Navy will take over on the Navy 20 with a first down. 5.5 minutes left to play. Let's listen to this tune. Army's come back for 2 touchdowns in the second half. Al Hughes is flanking wide. Beats, fumble, and who's got looks like an Army recovery. Army recovers. Number 54, Jalwin, recovered a fumble. And there's Army's big break. They're on the Navy 17. 45, Kirschenbauer's come in. 31 is Rushatz. 10 is Eckert, the sophomore quarterback. And 16 is Adams. That's the Army backfield. Kirschenbauer in motion. Keeping the ball is Eckert. Eckert on the keeper play. Took that ball out of the stomach of the fullback. He has the option to either keep or pitch out to a trailing halfback. Hewitt stopped him. The ball's on the Navy 14-yard line. Army has a second down, 7 to go. This is their big chance. They have scored twice in the second half. And there are 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the game. And Army has a scoring chance. Zamida split wide, the end. Eckert running again. He's inside the 10. Eckert very fast. Adelahu Adams has stepped out. And they say he stepped out on the 10-yard line.
You'll notice that Army is running a man in motion to its left and getting Navy to overshift in that direction, then running back to the weak side. That's why this play is so effective.
All right, third down and 3 to go for the Army on the Navy 10-yard line. There goes Rushatz. Rushatz, the power-driving Army fullback, who has scored both Army touchdowns. Looks like about the 8-yard line when he untangled. It's Frank Biscuit, number 52. Stopped him. It's on the 9-yard line.
And this is probably the biggest down of the ball game for Army right here.
Fourth down and a yard to go. Fourth and a yard. Rushatz driving, 190-pound Eastern Collegiate Wrestling champion who has been Army's leading ground gainer all season long. Steve Hoy, Frank Visted, and John Hewitt. That Visted, number 52, as you've noticed, has really been tremendous for Navy, but it's an Army first down. Army's ball, first and goal to go on the Navy 7. Army recovered a Navy fumble, their first fumble of the game. Now the referee is asking the stands. Look at the cadets. They're in their undershirts up in the Army cheering section. It is a near 60-degree temperature today. Of course, they're heated up with battle, but it's also a beautiful afternoon here in Philadelphia. And now the clock shows 3 minutes to go. Army has the ball on the Navy 7. First down and goal to go. The sophomore quarterback, Eckert, is calling signals. Eckert keeps the ball. A bad pitch out. A fumble. A loose ball. It is out of bounds at Army's ball. Army's ball.
Army was the last team to have control of the ball there, and it is their ball because Navy didn't recover before it went out of bounds.
That's out of bounds on the 19 or 20-yard line. As they hit Eckert, just as he made that pitch out, he was trying to pitch to Kirschenbauer, and the ball got away. So instead of first and 7 for a touchdown, now it's 2nd down and 20 to go for an Army touchdown. And Tom Bland is back in the game, number 18, Army's best passing quarterback. Clock is stopped with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to play. 17-12, Navy leading. Got a flanking halfback and a left end split. Landis fading. He's rushed. Now he's going to run to the 20, to the 15. Nearly fumbled, but downed on the Navy 16. He couldn't find anyone open. Frank Visted brought him down, number 52, and Frank Dadlio, number 88. We have 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the game. Army's ball on the Navy 16. And the Navy boy up slowly is number 62, John Hewitt, who is being helped off the field. Replacing him is Vern Bonsido. Army has a 3rd down and 16 to go for a touchdown. For those that joined us late, Navy scored 17 points in the first half. Bellino running 4 yards for a touchdown. Mather kicked a field goal, and a pass from Spooner to Looper for a touchdown with a 2-point successful try. Spooner running it over. Army, coming back in the 3rd quarter, marched 78 yards for a touchdown with Rushat scoring. Then they marched 83 yards for a touchdown with Rushat scoring from a foot out. Army got the ball, couldn't move, punted, and Navy just fumbled. Army recovering on the Navy 17. They made a 1st and goal to go to the 7. A pitch out that got away, carried it back to the 20. Now they're on the Navy 16. 3rd down and goal to go. Landa calling signals. Landa being rushed. The pass no good at the 8-yard line to Kirschenbauer. Kirschenbauer, number 45, had his hands on it. And Army now has a 4th down and 16 to go for a touchdown.
And you can bet there's a lot of discussion among the Army coaches as to just which pass they want to try on this play.
We have 2 minutes to play as Army comes up with a 4th down and 16 to go for a touchdown. Landa throwing, no good, and Navy holds a pass intended for Kirschenbauer. Now Navy will take over and try and freeze it away. Well, the pitch out on the 7-yard line hurt Army. They had a 1st and 7 to go for a touchdown. Navy stopped them on the last series. Harry Dietz is in at quarterback for the Navy with 1 minute and 55 seconds left to go. Navy's ahead 17-12. Al Hughes flanking wide. Ball goes to McCune, the fullback. Navy, of course, trying to use the ball all the time possible.
You can bet that Navy quarterback is in the huddle telling his ball carriers to hang on to that ball because the Army's going to be grabbing at it with both hands trying to cause a fumble.
Army just walked in the call time to stop the clock with 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining. Tremendous game. That saw Navy ahead 17-0. Army come back for 2 touchdowns and has just been stopped by the Navy. Later this evening, ABC will bring you the fight of the week. Tonight's attraction will match heavyweights Billy Hunter and Mike DeJohn, a 10-round bout from New York's Madison Square Garden. The presentation is another exciting sports event brought to you by ABC. I told you earlier, this is the season for both teams. Somebody asked Wayne Harden yesterday if he lost, he still had a good year. He said if you lose to Army, it's a complete failure. The only objective of Army football, the main objective, must be victory over Navy. It cannot be achieved by anything less than complete dedication. We've had that dedication here today by both teams. Paul?
You will be seeing all the timeouts that Army has left in this case because it's imperative, of course, they get a hold of the ball once more. They're trying to hold Navy from making a 1st down and call timeouts after each play to kill the clock.
Navy, by the way, has had the ball for only 12 plays in the 2nd half. Al Hughes flanking. The handoff goes to Bellino.
filled by Vanderbush.
You see there, Army has called a timeout, as we mentioned, and also you notice that Bellino is running very carefully. Most of the time, as I mentioned, you'll see the ball carriers with 2 hands on the ball instead of 1, because this is the one time in the ball game they cannot stand a fumble.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed the game today. We'll be with you next Saturday on our NCAA Game of the Week. Duke and UCLA from Los Angeles. Remember, next season, support the college team in your area with the outstanding spectacle of college football, fun for the entire family. Well, if Army wins this game, on their trip home, they elect the captain for next year on the train. They're met at the South Gate. Victory wagon takes them into West Point. If Navy wins, the Japanese bell starts to ring all tonight and tomorrow until the Navy team arrives back at the academy. Then each member strikes the E-bell off the carrier Enterprise to celebrate the victory. Ron McCune is in at fullback. Hughes is flanking, and hitting is Bellino to the 19-yard line with Vanderbush and Jalwin stopping him. And Army, number 64, Al Vanderbush, asked for time, and the time now is 1 minute and about 32 seconds left in this game.
We could see, there's your clock right there, we could see almost a full series of downs by Army in this case if they can get a reasonably good punt run back, and Navy is unable to cover that punt too well. If they can get an Army territory, we might still see a possibility of a score, because with passes, if they're incomplete, the clock is stopped, and if they are complete, the ball, of course, is moving down the field.
Well, the big play coming up now. Mather has gone in punt formation for Navy. You'll be seeing him in a minute. And another central figure will be number 44. Joe Blackgrove will be the safety man. There he is. And let's see what Army does now as Mather's in punt formation. The kick is away. A nice one. Blackgrove takes it up to the 50 and runs it out of bounds in Navy territory on the Navy 49. 35-yard kick from scrimmage. Joe Bellino and Frank Vista covered the kick to drive Blackgrove out of bounds.
Now the possibility, of course, coming up, throwing to the outside, having that receiver catch it and run out of bounds to stop the clock. But, of course, Navy is cognizant of this, too. So let's see which one gets ahead in this guessing game.
They're leaving Blackgrove in the game, number 44, speedy back, who can take a long pass with his speed. A minute and 23 seconds left to go, with Navy ahead 17-12. Landa, the quarterback. Fading. A long one to Blackgrove, number 44, over his head. Double teamed by 2 Navy men. If you saw the first half, they tried to hit Blackgrove with long passes just before the end of the half.
Kurt, that double team didn't mean a thing in this case because he had a 1.5 yard lead on both of them.
Bellino and Hardison were on him. That stops the clock with 1 minute and 17 seconds left in the game. Navy 17, Army 12. Army's ball. Navy scored all its points in the first half. Army all its points in the second half. The lonely end is out. Here's Blanda. He's rushed. He gets it away. It's no good. Deflected by Larry Graham, number 84. The pass was intended for Glenn Adams. Army has a 3rd down and 10 with 1 minute and 12 seconds to go. Bob Easton's come in at left guard, number 69 for the Navy. Roger Zaleskus, number 21, has replaced Joe Blackgrove for the Army. Got an end split wide to the left. Zaleskus in motion. Blanda ran into his fullback. Now throws the screen pass back to Rushat as he comes to the 45 with a 40 and inside the 35 down to the 32-yard line. Stopped by Frank Datlio. 55 seconds left to go. 50 seconds. The clock is moving as he didn't go out. Army lining up quickly with 45 seconds. First down on the Navy 32. Blanda, man tripped and fell down on the 25. That was Rushat, or 21, Zaleskus.
who tripped and fell down. He was the intended receiver. And there's a clock with 37 seconds remaining in the game.
And of course, that incomplete didn't hurt Army as badly as it looked because it still stops that clock.
Second down and 10 to go. Huffman's in at right tackle for the Army. Blackrose for the Navy. Blackrose back in at halfback for the Army, replacing Zalestra. He's number 44, and he's still a threat for the long one. Landa out of the pocket, throwing deep. It is intercepted by Navy. Up to Bellino to the 20, reversing his field to the 25, to the 30. Bellino's to the 40, and Bellino's to the 45-yard line. Bellino intercepted on the 1-yard line and ran it back 44 yards. The clock is moving, and it is finally stopped as Army dashed in the call time with about 12 seconds remaining. And that should do it for Navy as Bellino grabbed that one off. It was intended for Blackrose. Earlier in the game, Bellino ran 57 yards from scrimmage from the 1-yard line. And this time he intercepts from the 1-yard line. He's tired naturally after that long haul. With that tremendous change of direction he has, his cutting and swerving ability. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, probably the greatest back in the history of Navy football, who has set an all-time record this year for the Navy. He has scored 18 touchdowns. He has scored 110 points. He has averaged 47 yards on quick kicking. He's a good pass receiver. He blocks, he tackles, he does everything to put the numbers up on the scoreboard.
What does he do for an encore, Kurt?
The clock shows us about 12 seconds to go. Navy's ball. Bellino's coming out and getting a tremendous ovation. Al Hughes is flanked. There's the sneak with a penalty marker down. Penalty marker down. Offside against Navy. I want to thank Gene Kelly very much for his help today with statistics and details on the game. Gene, one of the outstanding sports announcers in the country from Philadelphia. Neither team has won 2 or more straight since Navy copped 3 in a row in 50, 51, and 52. And Dietz, the quarterback, just taking the hand off the fall on the ball, and that's it. Navy wants that ball. They've won it by standing off Army in a tremendous game. There goes Wayne Harden, the Navy coach, out on the field. Navy in the light suit and the dark hat in civilian clothes. There go the goalposts as Wayne Harden moves out, and Dale Hall, of course, will come out to meet him. And here's the Navy. And that's the end of the game. The final score is Navy 17 and Army 12.
Watch. Here comes Christmas gift goof number 1. Wrong color. Here's gift goof number 2. Wrong size. And goof number 3, a gift he can't use. There's one sure way not to goof this Christmas. Give Paper-Mate pens. Paper-Mate pens make goof-proof gifts. There's never a worry about size or color or style. And a Paper-Mate is a gift everyone can use. This is the famous Capri Mark III. Here's the petite and lovely Lady Capri. Or give the luxurious Capri Mark IV in gleaming jeweler's finish. All Paper-Mate pens are unconditionally guaranteed. If the Paper-Mate you give doesn't perform, we'll replace it. So don't goof this Christmas. Get Paper-Mate pens at the Paper-Mate gift bar.
Paper-Mate gifts are goof-proof.
You have just seen the Navy win today 17-12. They led 6-0 at the first quarter, 17-0 at the half. That Army put on 2 long marches and had a first down and 7 yards to go for a touchdown when a pitch out backfired. And then Navy finally held on with Bellino intercepting that pass on the 1-yard line, running it back 44. And there is the tremendous crowd of 100,000 today who watched this game in beautiful weather Looks like Joe Bellino right there. And that's the Navy publicity director, John Cox, along with him. Bellino, number 27. I think they're trying to get Joe down to our on-field camera. And there is our ABC TV camera downfield. Bellino wrapping up his sensational career, the Naval Academy, and we'll see who we have to represent the Army cadets, who certainly were a fighting, scrappy team in that second half today.
Kurt, we might make note of the fact that we might see some new robes at Navy tonight, because traditionally these cadets and plebes and all these people bet a robe against each other in this contest.
Well, let's go down to the field now to Bob Neal and our post-game interview.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen some great finishes in football, and this one certainly was a bright one today. Over here in my immediate right is Joe Bellino and his mother, and I imagine this is one of the great moments of your life.
It sure is, Bobby. Thanks a lot.
This is your mother here?
Yes, this is my mother. The first Army-Navy game she's seen.
They tell me that Mom here used to look out the window when Joe was first playing and help him out, huh? So, this is Captain Al Vanderbush of Army. I know that this was a tough break for Army to lose this one, Al, but you certainly gave it a great fight, didn't you?
Yes, sir. With a few breaks, maybe in the first half, we might have had the ball game. I'm pretty sure we had it in the first half.
I have to say this, over the years there have been so many great classics between Army and Navy that this indeed was one of the real brilliant ones. You had a chance to win it in the dying moments. It just didn't quite come through. A great play by Bellino, but certainly Army has nothing to be ashamed of today, Al.
Well, the win, that's what we were out for, and we didn't get it, so I don't think that we have anything to be happy about tonight.
Well, I know that the Army men are sad, but I want to extend to you our best wishes for the future, Al. You played the game like a true Army man. You tried your best, and that's about all anybody could expect you to do.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Thanks, Al, very much.
Thank you.
All right, I want to talk to Mrs. Bellino here. Here's Al Vanderbush. Mr. Joe Bellino. Joe, you've made some great runs. Is this one of the first times that you've come up with a key defensive catch like that?
Well, I would say yes against Army, yes, sir.
Against Army.
Well, I could have been the GOAT today, as you know.
Well, I wouldn't say
I had
so.
to make up for something.
I'd say the GOAT was really jumping today.
Oh.
Joe, that first run you made when you were way back there on Navy's, I think it was around the 9, you broke outside the left side and got through, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did, sir.
And then your touchdown run, I believe you went outside the right tackle and broke through.
Well, it was supposed to be an inside play, but it looked too clogged up for me, so I ran
When you
outside.
saw that ball coming, did you just say, come to Joey?
Well, yeah, I guess I did. Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Bellino, I know this is a happy... This is Joe's father, Mr. Bellino.
That's right.
And this is your brother. Who's this?
My brother, Tony.
Fine. Well, congratulations to the Bellino family. Congratulations to Navy. It's been a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Joe. Good luck to you. Now let's go back to Kurt Gowdy and Paul Christmas.
Well, that was quite a story. Mom and son. Incidentally, she used to be his greatest coach in baseball, correct all his mistakes when he was a little boy. Now here's Paul Christman for the wrap-up.
Just a brief wrap-up on the scoring. In the first quarter, Navy recovered an Army fumble on the 21 and went 21 yards in 4 plays. Bellino sweeping his end for 4 yards and a touchdown. When the kick failed, the score was Navy 6, Army nothing. In the second quarter, Mather kicked an 11-yard field goal, making the score Navy 9, Army nothing. Then a little later, Spooner to Looper, a fine 13-yard pass, making it 15-0 Navy. And the two-pointer, Bellino, incidentally, tried a sweep and then lateral back to Spooner, who went over, making the score 17-0 at the half. Army came to life in the third quarter, and in 14 plays went 78 yards from where Al Rushatz made a 1-foot plunge, making the score 17-6. The two-pointer failed. The score remained that way until the fourth quarter. And again, Army went 83 yards in 10 plays. Rushatz plunging 1 foot, making the score 17-12. Again, the two-pointer failed, and that was the final. Navy 17, Army 12. And here once again is Kurt Gowdy.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's NCAA College Football Game of the Week. The final score, Navy 17 and Army 12. Today we'd like to thank Bob Glass, who spotted Army, and Jack Stevens, who spotted Navy. Our thanks also to these two fine schools from the United States Military Academy, Superintendent Major General William C. Westmoreland, the Director of Athletics, Colonel Armory S. Adams, Jr., the Sports Publicity Director, Joe Cahill, and the head coach, Dale Hall, and his staff and their great squad who made such a tremendous comeback. And from the United States Naval Academy, the Superintendent, Rear Admiral John F. Davidson, the Director of Athletics, Asbury Coward, the Sports Publicity Director, John Cox, and Head Coach Wayne Harden and his staff, whose Navy team this year compiled the outstanding record of 9 wins and only 1 loss. They should be very proud of their team. Now, friends, remember there's no more enjoyable way to spend the Saturday afternoon than watching college football. Support your team by attending their games. Next week we'll be in Los Angeles for the game between the Duke Blue Devils and the UCLA Bruins. NCAA football telecasts are produced by Roone Arledge. They're directed by William Bennington. Our mobile unit and crew today were from ABC, New York. The technical director was William Morris. So this is Kurt Gowdy, along with Paul Christman and Bob Neal, saying so long from Philadelphia. Remember to stay tuned to College Football Scoreboard, following over most of these ABC stations. The NCAA College Football Game of the Week has been brought to you by
L&M has found the secret that unlocks the flavor in a filtered cigarette.
and by Humble Oil and Refining Company, America's leading energy company, whose happy motoring stations bring you fine products and service coast to coast. And by the Gillette Safety Razor Company, maker of the 195 adjustable razor that adjusts to your skin and beard. The remarkable Super Blue Blade, all but unbelievable shaving comfort. And Foamy, the cream of all instant lather.
Courtroom intrigue as an underworld kingpin fights to beat the ref in the Roaring Twenties. That's the Roaring Twenties.
Tonight on ABC.